for a bit more go to your go button. There is some more hard CC to set up some of the other members who would like that.
It's Draw's best champion as well, so that's a good pickup for LNG. Wink on the other side, you know, he's a decent Nautilus player. EDG do need to step up as well. A lot of what we've been talking about, of course, has been about LNG because they brought in 2 substitutes and they were in freefall. However, these 2 teams already faced off against each other multiple times this year, and on the whole, EDG was better than LNG. On the whole. When we come through into these sorts of games, though, with such big changes from LNG, it doesn't have to stay that way, and EDG really could have gone through the last game. Anyway, we'll listen to the crowd and see how awake they're feeling.
Not that awake today, apparently. Certainly less awake than I am right now, because I'm ready to go. That's a lie. I'm not. I'm not ready to go, Alex. Help. Prepare me.
Sorry, but help machine is broken.
Help machine is broken.
Help machine is broken. I don't know what to say, Sam. You know, they got to send all these engineers in, and you know what it's like. Right.
He laughs at my pain,
Yeah,
guys.
sorry if the screen just flickered there, folks. Turns out when I'm clicking on other screens, which I have a second screen for the first time, they can sometimes affect that, so I'm not going to do that. Just have to move things around so I could see chats properly. LP draw. Oh, getting out to level 1. Good damage there from Arn. Nice drop down from draw though.
Wink eats a lot of that. Of course, on the spot will have a few more pops to roll with, but damage burns. Wink will still have his ignite, worth noting.
I actually wonder whether it would have been better for Wink to actually flash out of that and keep the HP advantage. And I wonder if that's a misjudgment. Now with the bullet time, not the bullet time, with the double up coming through, that means that the level 1 has gone very well for LP and Draw. I mean, LP, with a point to prove, wants to prove that he is not just a consolation, he can be a winning factor for LNG. A player that has, I mean, LP was on a EDG. Back when I first started casting the LPL, Manta potentially coming through from Draw.
Flash
away.
Down there from Arn, of course, on the Jin. Early damages are mixed, but your early CC is normally alright. Problem is your Infamous Misfortune has been hitting a lot of really good angles for those double ups. You are caught around some minions that are dying. Getting that auto crit early on can really suck from that double up.
No, I was wrong about the LP thing, by the way. He was on He was on LNG.
Wasn't it LNG?
Yeah. No, I was thinking of. I think it was because EDG had LPC. There was another AD character called LPC who was around the place too, and that really messed with my mind. And it has been a couple of years since I thought about this now. 50-50 going into the enemy jungle on the Neferi. Gonna go to steal away Raptors as Xiaohao skipped Raptors to get a little bit closer to bot side, a little quicker, and get into River and fight for Scuffle. We'll be missing out on level 4, and 50-50 will take a free camp from the other side. Of course, Neferi, with any amount of resources, does get a bit scary.
Pings away. And no wards, I think, spotted that, so I'm not sure that Xiaohao has all that much info about that yet. Missed the things on that one as a Wink lands a hook on the other side into the dredge line. And somehow Arn and Wink have managed to get level 3 before LP and Jordan. I wonder if they roamed over to try and ensure a bit of support for the Neferi invade.
What probably ended up happening is they ended up pushing a little too hard, and that means that their wave was harder. The next wave was harder to kill.
Right.
It's often what happens in the early levels is that, yes, you're not losing out on XP, it's just you don't get it quickly enough. On going up the next draw to attacks. A little bit scary, of course, with execute damage on your 4th shot. This could be a problem.
Neferi's around, but so is Xiaohao. Let's see how this one will play out. Wimp becomes lightning. Attempts to go through multiple people, but 50 does a decent job of blocking that. All shot onto the turret, Arn freeloading. LP just about enough under the turrets to stay safe. Xiaohao goes, I'm going to steal your camps now, no.
Tit for tat. And does Splat go the dog? No, I was going to say Splat go the rat, but it's not really a rat, is it? But then again, XTD isn't a rat either. It's a cat, by the way. For those you
Cadrill's been lying to everyone for years.
I think Cadrill has been spreading misinformation on the internet. You know, I
don't believe it. Mark Lamont is an internet misinformation spreader.
I swear if this gets clipped out of context.
Love you, Mark. Don't hate us anymore.
I mean, the real tear back the curtain moment is actually it's better if it's clipped out of context because then we get better views. But yeah, Draws on the bot side of the map, and we'll secure some vision around the place there. LP, because this player hasn't been on the Rift for a while, I was like, oh, where did this guy go? When I first started casting LPL, this guy was a bit of a mercenary. You know, he has been on multiple teams. He was on LNG for a long time. He went to RNG, and that really didn't work out well for him. He was on, God, I'm trying to remember if he was on Team WE for a bit as well. He has been about the place, and it has, yeah, he was on WE last split in the summer placements.
Right.
And then he got subbed out for Abel, who couldn't save that team either, and you know, WE has continued to be in a bit of awkward
I
scenario.
mean, they made it up to Ascension Group, to be fair. They've done an okay job of recovering from an awful position.
So LP felt like he was just like, well, you know, he was safe hands for a while. 50-50 on bot side, level 4 to level 3. Wink's in trouble. He doesn't have that flash. This is a dead Nautilus.
Yeah, Wink going to not get that much damage back. And actually, on with the pop is going to get some value. But what about everybody else? They'll go 1-for-1 in the grand scheme of things. On with the 4-shot will tag, rather, LP. And ends up being a 1-for-1 in a position where I didn't think it was going to be all that possible.
Well, actually, with the extra damage from Arn, I think they can take a continued fight here because LP is at so low HP and Arn is threatening executes. Xiaohao making sure that Arn has enough presence on bot side of the map to stay in lane. And despite it being a 1-for-1, the kill goes to the Nymaera kit. That's very good for the overall team of LNG. But for the bot lane scenario specifically, a kill on Jhin who gets to stay in lane despite the kills coming through will be able to push in a wave and get a bit of reset. LP having to recall right now. So Arn's still in control of bot side.
Angel. Potentially a little bit of threat here, but backs away far enough not to be in too much danger.
Wait, so you're telling me Lost Returns can't be EDG, it can't be LNG and EDG right now? I didn't say anything like, I didn't say they couldn't beat them. There are differences between tier 2 and tier 1, don't get me wrong, but I didn't say that. These teams are struggling. I think these teams are really need to clean up their acts. There is a lot to be said about these teams and the amount of potential that they are struggling to enable from their players.
Yep. Non-meme answer, I actually do think Lost Returns, in terms of laning strength, at the very least, would make EDG and LNG suffer.
These are the kind of teams which would just be so confused by them. I do think that the early game plays are very hard to overcome from LPL, which is just a thing that you don't see because all the teams are so adjusted to it. You do have potential roamer towards the Groves, but LNG pull off that play. And we did say, well, realistically, EDG should be favored in this game. Yes, I think they really bombed out of the last chance qualifiers. They really should have gotten ahead of WE, but they ended up throwing both the regular game and then the tiebreaker against them. Much to the enjoyment of WE fans. There's a long-time rivalry between EDG and WE's organizations. But now they're in a position where they need to face off against LNG again. They were in the group with them earlier in the year in Split 1. They faced up against them multiple times this year. But this time there's 2 substitutes, which kind of resets the power of LNG a little. It says, well, you've got to build up again in terms of your synergy. See if there's a honeymoon period, I guess.
That's a good question, won't it? 50 in the pit. Wink also around. Maybe forced to dredge line out. Of course, Dottie goes straight on in. 5 will decide to use the W, flash away, but still going to get jumped on by Angel, who's really looking for this. Can't quite get the kill, looking for the reset. There's a heal from the second part of the Darking Dagger. Jordan now going on in with the Shattering Strike and gets a kill for Haichao. While EDG on the retreat on out, there's a Realm Walk for more people coming on, and they try to deny it. And then Jorg going the only one who goes forward into it. Tries to get the crash down, does so, and there's the Hound's Pursuit. They get the kill on the Nautilus, and EDG way overchased trying to get the kill.
Massive, massive overplay from EDG. They don't respect the bullet time, they don't respect everyone coming in from LNG quickly enough, and they don't get the damage down. That's the biggest thing. They don't manage to kill off the targets that they actually chose. Poor damage calculations, and LNG will walk away with a lot of gold on this Rise. Rise will be getting up to a quicker Rod of Ages now. How does this start? Well, I think a lot of it happens because the W comes onto the second part, the wind becomes lightning, and the Fury gets to escape with a lot of extra HP, flashes out of the W, and a dog blocks the charm. So Neferi showing why it's so annoying to get onto this slippery AD assassin bruiser jungle with a frickin' Fizz E on their W to go untargetable.
And the Realm Walk comes on through, and I wonder whether that Deadly Flourish might be able to stop it if they stop the Realm Walk, if they could hit the Rise, but no, it doesn't happen. In comes the support with all the CC, and then level 6 comes on through for the Neferi.
I felt that RA Charm on a spiritual level though. Playing against Neferi is like, wow, I should be able to flash to confirm a thing. No, the pup says no. You know, one of the dogs takes one for the team. Sam, I spent... Hang on a second, is Wink gonna die here? Yeah, Wink actually might die here. Alright, he's safe for now. A little bit worried. Like, he does have flash.
Okay.
There is currently a Deferi around the corner who has a lot of damage now at this point. But speaking of, you know, sacrificing a pup for the cause, I talked about this yesterday, but I spent 3 hours recently watching Pokemon Challenges play the hardest Pokemon Nuzlocke out there to date so far, and it was actually an incredible cinematic experience, because sacrificing to get tempo in an important fight is very, very important. Sometimes you got to give something up to get something. This is just giving up something for free, though, maybe.
Flashes away, stays alive. Deadly Flourish collects no one except for a minion who's going, oi, why'd you shoot me? And then that's the end of that. Still flash down on the AD carry. Not having a great time there.
No, which is a problem, because the next fight could be kind of explosive. We do have Dragon still alive, not taken early on. 3 grubs over to EDG obviously helped them, but it's been much less of the quick objective trades that we've seen from most games here in the LPL display. Typically see very early on spawn Dragon and Grubs, Dragon and Grubs, traded across the place, and seeing if one team can snowball with their chosen set of the 2 objectives.
And LNG still behind, ironically, about 100 to 200 gold, despite the fact they're the ones with the first 3 kills. At least in part because of some of that laning stuff. 2 kills onto Haichao's Rise, though, should be a bit of an alarm bell ringing, because that means it's a very early Rod of Ages and a very early tier stack. So this Rise will be off to the races, and with the phase rush, he can race quite fast. Rumble, all the same, though. Doing very well for CDZ, up about that 50 CS mark, which is pretty significant. Of course, Ambessa sometimes does have a few of those lanes where she drops a wave or so early before she can get some threat back with things like these plays.
Grubs spawning now. First Dragon yet to be taken. This is... Oh, look, this is going to annoy me, folks. Dragons are so important in the current meta. You can't afford to stop the Dragon stacking, or stop from starting. Charm does land a drone. Half HP is gone there. First grub of this set goes over towards EDG. Get themselves forward. But LNG, they're not answering with objectives on the other side, even in gold, so we're not going to get a huge objective there. Hex Flash over the wall from Wing. Gets a hook.
Depth charge comes on through. 50-50 injection just gets eviscerated. Nice work. Angel with the charm onto Zucker, but won't find too much more. Misses the cannon. It's all over.
Oh, wow, that's the real important thing here. 50-50 dies to deny the 6th grub, but you have still given up your life. You've still given EDG foothold on the map. Your jungler is not alive, so particularly in this early game, you can't really tank and kill Dragon quickly enough without a jungler actually doing it, because of the jungle item bonuses to killing them. Means that LNG, despite them having a good skirmish earlier, that was kind of one that EDG threw to them. LNG are not making their own plays that well right now, especially when it comes to the actual objectives. 3 plates now down the top, so it's soon to be 4 because of those 5 grubs. And LNG slow to defend. Here comes Draw to try and pick up the scenario.
3-man Magnet Storm is a good start. Angel will begin to Spirit Rush away from Baker and CDZ. Gonna just retreat as well. The dogs go forwards briefly, but
it's too slow.
Not there.
It's too slow. LNG arrive a wave too late. They give up 4 plates. They use a couple of summoners to try and get into the play on draw. Yes, Zucker's on the bot side pushing out this lane, but it's not like that's going to lead to that much because the teleport comes in on the other side, and you only had the one grub to push that tower yourself. So EDG, I think they feel completely fine about this. Yeah, they slipped up with that one overplay earlier into the bot side jungle, but there's no dragons being stacked on the other side, so they haven't traded grubs for that. In fact, they can set up for the bot side dragon now if they really want to, and I think that's completely fine. And if they ever find themselves in a situation where they think, actually, no, let's play this a little bit slower and let's not fight for this right now, they can cross map with 5 grubs. EDG have a great strategic advantage now.
Very much do. And LNG, a bit of an odd spot now this game. No one's taking the dragons. They've only got a single grub, and G have got the Roa stacking for the RE, the Shinzao's online, the Rumble's online, Jin's got Collector and a couple kills, or at least some kill involvements. Not a bad place to be.
I'm just laughing to seeing Hans over in the Nymaera YouTube chat talking about, please take the dragon, please, LNG, I'm begging you.
14 minutes deep.
Couple of messages in a row. We don't get timestamps for that. I'm just wondering exactly over what time period that is, because the more I think about it, that has been a long time, but they probably should have been angling towards that.
Oh yes. And also there's the fact that before that there's the Signs of Life comment. You're an LNG enjoyer, aren't you, Hans? I don't know whether enjoyer is the right word right now. Maybe sufferer. You're an LNG sufferer. It's been a hard road from the halcyon days of Scout and crew leading this team to success.
Well, and even before that, you know, the Doonby era. LNG have had some good times. You know, Doonby and Arla, of course, in 2020, I want to say, going from play-ins and then making a decent run of it. Yeah, I mean, LNG is one of our greater organizations than the LPL, and they have a lot of long-term fans for various players that should come to apply their trade here. It doesn't feel like this is a team which has built anything this year, though. I was speaking to Goldborg, who is an LNG supporter, and he was saying, like, well, you know, I supported them for how many years and blah, blah, blah. But there's just nothing to support about this team right now. Like, well, what do you do with a team that is suffering this much? And I do understand that. And yes, credit to you if you're still stuck by LNG. You have every right to be upset with the team. I think EDG fans don't fall into a dissimilar bracket with some of their performances over the last year or two. Of course, the Doom squad of last year was very difficult to watch with the Vampire roster. I'm trying to remember who their AD carries was. It was Leave actually at that point, but he just couldn't save that team. Anyway, it was a big problem there. The Snake as well was the other guy that was rotating between them. But anyway, not to call out specific people too hard. It was a difficult time. Both these teams, legendary in some ways, EDG more so than LNG, of course, but fallen on hard times.
Now down in Group Nirvana, waiting to see whether they go through the cycle of reincarnation, by which I mean not playing from the time of July. The bottom two teams in this group of 6. That means 1/3 of the teams in this group will just have their year end.
Why are you so far away from the microphone? Because there's two of us sharing the same microphone, because it makes it easier to cast the game in a bedroom when we don't have a studio, because there's no official LPL broadcast, and it makes it easier and more comfortable to us to do this every day of the week because we want to keep up coverage. And yeah,
am I sounding far away from the microphone?
Probably because you're far away from the microphone.
Yeah, it's because I can't lean up. I'm getting neck cramps, so I have to be back here.
Can you drop your chair down lower?
No, I've got my chair's lower as it gets. My back's as high as it gets. I can't get it.
Your back's as high as it gets?
This.
Oh, I thought you meant your actual back itself. Huh.
There we go. I'm in the awkward position to turn myself towards the microphone.
And then if we put the microphone actually up, then you start losing vision of the mini-map. So we tried that before.
It probably needs to come like here, doesn't it?
All right. Okay. All right. I can move it there for you.
That'll do.
Well, I can get to that. You need to be closer to the mic. Such is the complaint.
I'll see whether that hopefully helps reduce some of the echo.
Look, I can get closer to it, Sam. Look, I'm closer to the microphone.
Ooh, good job. I mean, through with the dogs.
Look, it's the Rod of Ages build. You don't have that much upfront burst. You do have, you do have some ability to draw out a little bit. 6-5 grubs doing well here. Trading part from Zucker on the other side of the map. Will take this turret unanswered. But I mean, EDG feel like, look, we have Herald. We can keep walking up here. 5 grubs making it very easy to cross map. This Investor isn't going to kill turrets that quickly. So it's going to be a 2-for-1 turret trade on the map.
There goes the Herald charge in.
Not too far.
Ooh, Winky Xiao Hao. Now looking for an angle. 50-50 on a control ward. Doesn't get spotted. The wind became lightning. Struck nearby, but didn't strike twice, so he's going to be fine.
Uncontrolling mid lane. Effectively has the collector first item, so he's ready to roll actually. This the Bloodthirster and the collector, obviously good power spikes for both champions, but I think the collector very important for Arna if he gets involved. Haven't seen a fight for a little while, of course. LNG did eventually take that first dragon, but the second one spawning in a minute means that it's not on a great timing to force an early soul, which is often what you do against the likes of 5 grubs. You want to say, well, okay, we will give up a tower maybe, but you have to potentially give up big strategic advantage for the rest of the game.
Alright, so Wink on. Now staying in mid lane, ZDZ shoving up, and both these outer turrets being gone is a pretty tricky as potential look on to ZDZ is 50-50 and Xiao Hao both there, but with the junglers spotting each other, they don't want to go for the 2v2, and LNG's attempted bait leads to nothing.
So both junglers are spotted on top side. 30 seconds till Dragon, 30 seconds till Atacant as well. It's the GA version, not that high impact game so far. Zucker down towards the spot side. Has had basically just free pushing lane for a while. Wink caught out for now, but we'll get out safely.
It's a bit of damage, but not too much more than that. The damage leads to little. Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Only 2 dragons in 20 minutes. It's kind of wild. be looking at a 30-minute soul, assuming we get one team getting all the dragons in a row. I just don't know how likely that will be.
EDG have real control over this mid lane, which makes it much easier to approach the wave. Rise coming over can help that a little bit. Dawn is going to need a little bit of damage from Haichao on the other side. Haichao, a player who has had some great moments, but struggled to show them consistently, and with LNG in this split, really hasn't delivered on that rookie prodigy promise that we thought he might have in the last year or two. EDG, again, just kind of ping-ponging waves in mid lane. LNG maybe a little afraid to approach this one. Zucker pushing out that bot side now, but if he shows, that gives EDG a chance to make a play elsewhere.
Angel on a flank angle here, looking to see whether someone oversteps. Down to half HP is the dragon. Zucker now looking for that flank of vision. There is that fast side rushing to spot him out in a second or two. Big root though means Jordan dies. Bullet time. It's pretty mediocre, all things said and done. The room present to wink, in team down to half. Another crescent guard down as LP needs to flash on that, but immediately gets spirit rushed across Zucker. That flank led to nothing. Another couple kills over to EDG. They pick up the dragon. Curtains are called. Realm Warp to try and get to safety. Will get the rest of LNG out, but the damage is already well and truly done.
Yeah, and LNG's dragon setup was poor. Zucker was not in position to pick someone off, and sadly for the side of LNG, they just couldn't find and engage. The one person that can really engage is the Rel, and all EDG have to do is keep eyes on him. Exactly what they do. They take down LP and Dwar in that fight. And it's just kind of over. You know, Dwar's trying to position aggressively, but he's the only engage. He has to be stepping up, and he stepped up into a hook sadly for him, and then effectively the threat's gone. Finishing off this fight now with no engage is not something that LNG can do, and they just have to escape. LP sadly can't run away as the misfortune, and suddenly now they're in a position where they don't stack dragons, which they even took late. They don't win that fight, and they're lucky to get out without losing more people.
Very true. Draws down. Goes multiple members of LNG. They stop the dragon stacking for what it's worth at 22 minutes in. But hey, here we are. Dragon denied and EDG with a 54% win rate. Chance of statistical modeling, and I think I agree. They are in a much better position right now. They've got a lot of people very much online. We've got a bonus Oblivion Orb for this Ari as Wing. Gonna get jumped on with the Hound Pursuit. This is very deep, but they've actually got themselves a 4v3.
What are you
Here comes
doing,
the rest
LNG?
of EDG.
What are you
TP
doing?
in as EDG looking for an angle. Could look to throw down an equalizer. Goes golden to buy some time. Will be able to flash out if required. There's the equalizer onto LP's caught the red carpet. Her misfortune is very misfortunate indeed.
Why is this the fight which LNG choose to take? I don't understand it. Dwar, who couldn't get that a big engage around the last objective, can't do it now. Maybe they were angling to get a couple of kills and go into the Atacama, but it was so ill-advised. They go too far, can't kill off the targets. Killing off a Shinzao in a situation like that is always a bit of a fool's hope. And EDG will get themselves towards an Atacama and hopefully try and clear out this mid-wave. We'll see if they're successful in doing it. I know the tower might just fall.
Yeah, it's a gold looking for a charm. The minions are actually going to kill the tower regardless. So EDG burn a few summoners there to try and defend the turret. Don't quite do it. They will still get the Atacama though, so it's not actually all that much of an opportunity cost. It's all frustrating. That's really all there is to it. And they pick themselves up some GAs for their trouble.
So EDG pick up another couple of kills. Why they're engaging onto a Nautilus in early game who's still tanky with a Celestial opposition active and a Shinzao can pop well, it's beyond me. Using your flashes, you can't even flash out of the play, that's too much. Haichao has to flash 2 out of the play. Yeah, he's very fast into her face rush, gets across, but this is a full-on retreat after they failed to engage. Why are you engaging onto the 2 tankiest, hardest to kill members of the team in a good scenario?
Rumble now with the completed Zonyas as well when you're into triple AD and only the Rise afterwards. It's pretty valuable here when you're looking for those kinds of plays, and the limited CC as well for LNG. This Rumble can have a lot of value out of that, I feel. And those second items largely completed for EDG. They're on their way to third, as we've kind of been talking about. Yes, LNG have at least got second items themselves. It's just feeling like from the way the game is being played, it's not looking pretty right now.
Hang on, Arn, why are you there? Doesn't have flash. That's a weird position for him to be in.
Not why he was there, but he was. It's only the withdrawal gone, but it is a withdrawal gone.
Yeah, that one's just so strange. And now suddenly you can't answer Zucker on the bot side. He'll have a free time to hit bot lane in a turret potentially. No, just puts a wave in. That's all right. But on a couple of times now, positioned in a poor place, forced to either flash or in this case, lose that withdrawal.
I don't see how he got there. Was he just on a bit of a
I think
holiday?
No, I think
a hiking trip? Going to see the sights of Raptor Pit?
Walking up, I mean, that's a great question. He's walking up to the poke with a 4th shot there. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe, I mean, I suppose EDG was in top jungle. He thinks, aha, I have a teammate in top jungle. I'm safe to walk up here around Raptor Pit. No, haven't had any eyes on the enemy team. And LNG pounce. He has no flash to get back out.
Yep. Now Angel picks up a control ward. It's a bit like, I wonder whether because Nymaera is there with all her dogs in the Raptor Pit, maybe they thought that was just Raptors.
I did see at some point before, like, Nymaera just stood in the wolf pit with the 2 dogs. It's like, oh, that's just normal.
Yeah.
Same with Warwick as well. Natural camouflage, so they say.
The other one we've seen, Nunu hiding as one of the grubs, eats one and then just stands there pretending to be a grub, and then people come over to take the grubs and sweep as he just press R. That's wonderful.
I've not seen. I don't know how you fall for
Kesha
that.
pulls it off. That's surprisingly regularly.
Very funny, actually.
That's in Challenger too,
which
for the
skin,
record.
Which skin do you use to make that happen?
No, I think we still look quite...
I don't know. If you use like
Quite
TPA
like
Nunu or something like that,
Yeah.
I mean, the grubs are very much not white Yetis.
Yeah.
So I won't be able to get that Void Scuttle. LNG, I mean, they're only 2k behind. I think EDG haven't used their 5 grubs that well. Now, I feel like they should have been able to push in towards inner turrets, maybe force some wider map scenarios to be challenged for LNG. Dragon's up now, 3rd Dragon of the game. Infinity Edge completes for LP, so he's in a good spot on the Misfortune of the actual raw damage. That being said, great damage coming in from both the carries of EDG now, because they have 2 items core for both these champions done.
Dragon is taken. And again, we are on track for a very late soul if we get there. Not convinced we will. We will try. As Baron now started by LNG, who are within touching distance of the goal. They will have pursuit on in, but 50-50 then dragged a long way towards the other members of EDG. Trying to land these curtain ball shots. They're quite fine, but 50-50's had to try and flash away. Burning down, Wimp becomes lightning into an audacious charge. Secures the kill onto the Neferi. Not Dredge Line. The deadly flourish into the Dredge Line ensures Haichao dies as well. And suddenly your mid jungle is gone. ZDZ's cleared mid, and you can just look at Baron. Flash on forward from Zerka to start Drake instead of going to ZDZ. You still got Lasagna.
He still has Flash.
And Flash. He just gets to walk away.
So Zerka flashes for absolutely nothing.
On to Baron we go. Angel, Arn, and Xiao Hao should be able to take. It's not the fastest Baron taking squad of all time. It's the Ari with the Leandris. Should be able to bring this one down with some burn, at least a little. And LNG, real contest available, right? Without their mid or jungle. But Baron over, stacks over. And a game that's looking a little bit, for all the gold is even enough, over for LNG. They go trying to jump onto this Nautilus on the face check. And problem is, the Dredge Line's up in time. The poor old 50-50 is dragged way too deep and ends up trying to find his way out to safety but cannot escape. 50-50 flashes, the wind becomes lightning, but there's still an audacious charge, and then the depth charge comes on through. And Haichao is introduced to the bounce house and regrets his time there and gets a bit of a concussion from bouncing too hard. Infinity Edge now done for the Jhin. Sork Pen boots upgraded for the side of Angel on this Ari, who's in a very good spot himself. Nearly got a death cap done for the Rumble. It's all looking pretty good here. Zucker hiding off vision. Same with 50-50 pretending to be Raptors once more. Angel. Could be too much, but towards the tier 2 we go bot side. No one from LNG going to come stop this. That's a tier 2 granted to EDG. Still want this mid tier 1. Got Arn in trouble the last time. Resetting on through for 50-50. Angel looking for just wide on LP, who gets to strut away. Mid tier 1 has to be the consideration. There's a bullet time available. There's the curtain calls. EDC looking for an equalizer 2 across 3 people. Nice angle. LP's in danger. Flash Zonya's Flame Spitter ensures the Misfortune dies in swift order. Nice work from EDG to pull the trigger and ensure that the bot lane falls to pieces. LNG backing away, 2 members down. Mid lane tier 2 goes down. Flash charm onto another member. At least it's a repudiation shield. Sorry, it's just Haichao. So it's a Seraph shield, but it means nothing. Tier 3 now gone in the blink of an eye. Every mid turret falls. The inhibitor just after. And EDG explode the gold lead how much further can they go? There is Texas Towers in their eyes, and 2 members dead for at least another 10 seconds. They can look to claim at least 1 Nexus turret. EDG continue to step on forward. Not that many ults to work with for LNG, struggling to find a moment to pull the trigger. 4 seconds on LP, who's got the bullet time. They'll take another third to half of the HP on that last Nexus turret, but they will retreat for now. Damage well and truly done. A lot of gold to spend. They'll want to reset and look to set up perhaps this dragon in a minute and a half. On. It's being run at. 50. It's also there. Are they going to try and run it on? They were thinking about it. Angel, okay, goes and clears the wave. Could use a reset here. Got 9 stacks on that Dark Seal, so I'd suggest the Medjans. That was a very fast play, Montes, but I agree. It's not been a fast game for 6. We are 30 minutes in, right? However, that sequence where they go mid-tier 1, mid-tier 2, mid-tier 3, inhibitor, and then 1.5 Nexus turrets off a really good Equalizer Curtain Call combo is pretty brutal for EDG. Welcome back.
Hi, I was going to get the shopping, Sam, so...
I figured that was going on. So what's happened is, EDG's got Baron.
Yep.
They took Baron, and then they had a Curtain Call on one angle, and an Equalizer they caught everyone at the same time. And then they, in a 5v3, effectively got mid-tier 1, 2, 3, and an Nexus turret.
And Angel has a Medjay, and does a C50 in that brush. Well, will do now, thanks Fox5. Yay, Ari Medjay, so I appreciate that. Best item on Ari. And I'd say that unironically, it is actually just
really good item,
it is actually just her best item. She's so snowbally and uses the stats and the ability to pull ahead of the game so well. She protects her stacks very important, very powerfully, and uses them very well. So, Angel in a good spot, of course, 1R, 1v1 to win the EDG side select for this game 1. 5 grubs pushing in across the map. LNG not feeling like happy campers.
And Angel, I think, is a player that has been in a rough place in terms of the teams he's been on, and relative to his level of flex. I actually think Angel's been quietly quite good for a few years. I think he's slumped a little bit over the last maybe split or 2, but I do think part of that is the fact he's been on teams that it's not been that easy to work with, and he is a big playmaker, a big sort of like mage engager kind of thing. He's great as Zir, great Ari, that kind of style of play. He's not really been able to leverage that into game wins, but I still think this guy's got pretty good hands, and in this game, in a good spot. Yes, Haichao has been doing the Rise hacks and getting a lot of farm himself. It's not meant all that much in the grand scheme of things, and I think if EDG were looking for a talismanic player to rally around, I think Angel wouldn't be a bad shout.
Yeah, no, as we talked about before, former Worlds finalist, had some incredible runs of form, was often quite streaky. I think he's become more consistent now, but it's something he's had to work out. He had a year on OMG, he got a 3rd All-Pro mid lane award while he had his time there, but yeah, I think at the last while, yes, he's been okay, but he's not really reached that level again. EDG going to quickly take this tower response to make sure that their gold keeps ticking over in terms of their advantage. They have a ridiculous amount of items now, and LNG has just felt like they've struggled to make any proactive plays. That is the sign of a struggling team, not actually being able to pull the trigger, because you don't know what a good player and what isn't.
I'm trying to remember what teammates they have. Who was he with?
Suning.
Of course it was.
It was SOFM, Huanfeng, and Sword.
Yeah.
That was the team. They made that finals versus Damwon, and Bin got a pentakill off Fiora. The only pentakill we've ever had in the World Finals, as we keep talking about.
It's also the year, I believe, where Bin did the GP things to G2.
Yeah, G2, they got barreled. Teleporting towards the bot side of the map. Not exactly sure about that one. Haichao maybe trying to make a play off of Vision, but EDG sticking towards their Vision line. LNG, again, struggling to make proactive plays. They're looking for stuff, they just can't pull the trigger. They don't know what's actually going to work.
Great Vision option. Zucker, the grand old scoreline of 0-0-0. She's not found anything on this Ambessa. That 1v1 went kind of wrong as well. Zucker not having a great start to the day.
Kind of surprised that EDG haven't looked to push in top wave at the same kind of timing, especially with Haichao now having his teleport down. EDG would prefer to look towards engage potentially if they can. Zucker taking a lot of damage there from the Rumble, trying to trunk out ZDZ instead of finding that himself. EDG, I mean, credit to them playing a lower risk style. They only really need to be aware of the Rel, who does walk up. Tao's taken in mid lane. EDG, I think, getting this for a bit for free, but the Cat Zucker.
Zucker's gone, doesn't reset properly now. Angel looking for an angle, finds LP, may need to be ulting away, waits the 50-50 to go in with the House Pursuit. Flash on forwards for the smoke and look to eviscerate forwards. Angel stays alive though. Arn now coming over to defend his mid laner as the bot and mid jungle rather of LNG need to just try and find a way out, but they're running towards the wrong side. The barrier means so little at this point. LP is giving free LP to the side of EDG.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a double teleport towards the top side. They have 5 grubs. Is this end of the game? Not sure. Haichao decided to go towards mid lane instead. I think there is a chance they lose Nexus turrets off this.
They've only got one remaining.
Draw has a flash, maybe to defend something. I think EDG might end the game here.
Got one of the next turrets just respawned as we speak about it. That's at least something. The other one's on half HP. Need to try and defend this if they can. It's dead. Going towards that final Nexus turret as it's beginning to respawn. It's not going to be on a huge amount of HP. Jaw goes crashing down. Doesn't find that much value. Deadly flourish. Roots him in place. He is dead. Zucker now respawning. How long until the rest come on in? Haichao. Very low HP. Will Audacious charge forwards. Will die. 1,000 gold shutdown. They've overplayed it. Trying to get onto the Nexus. ZDZ auto attacking best he can. Going to get the Realm Warp over. Just about 5 minions.
Game ends. EDG finish it as LNG struggled to pull the trigger the entire game.
Up with a QW.
Good anti-dive champion too, because if you go into the wave, throws his ult and his combo at you, and you kind of melt afterwards. So, Corki, Leona for Arn and Wink, losing lane in a lot of ways versus the Kalista and the Rata, of course, which is so dominant in that laning phase. LNG, better go buttons this time. Zucker has one. Still not the easiest engage. You don't have, you know, draw on the Rel this time. Of course, that was played in game 1. EDG have good range with the Hui. Decent side laning with the Narb. You have to deal with that Camille. This is a competitive draft. I don't think EDG walk away from this feeling like they got as much advantage in that first game. LNG, of course, with that blue side, would like to walk away.
That's a very EDG favored stat graphic.
Yeah, there it is. Despite the fact that they have the Skarner and they have the Kalista Renata, which are very high priority in the current meta. Now, LP, I do remember him being a Kalista player in the past. But playing Kalista is a team sport.
Mm-hmm. And I think with that in mind as well, I think we've seen a lot of Kalistas fumble that of late. We've also seen a fair number of Camille's fumble that. But I've seen one Camille win, that was from Yijin. Over on... Oh, it's the one team with Saber as well. LGD, is it?
Ultra Prime.
Ultra Prime, thank you. Yes, it is with John Howe in the jungle. Correct. Had a moment trying to remember which team everyone was on. I know the squad. I remember the game. And they managed to destroy a Camille with a... Or rather, destroy a Skarner with a Camille Vi Akali combo. And just blow it up with all of the mobility and dive.
Yeah. Angel walking up towards second now. Often what you do is Camille starts with the W and then the Gnar can start the E to jump out of it if you want to. He's not doing that here. They're going for the Q for wave control instead, getting a decent trade there. Sadly, the thing about Zucker there is that he used the W while he was full HP, so he doesn't get any regen from that W at that level 1. Kalista and Arda getting control over this lane. As you expect, are you going to lose any XP from the minions? No, yes, and played level 1.
But LP just hops away. Doesn't take all that much follow-up. I think the Frost Bomb a little shy there.
No, it was into the Guardian Shield. Guardian Shield and the E. So that's the thing about the Renata. Renata makes you surprisingly tanky, especially at the level 1 to 3, where you look to brawl so hard. The loyalty program, that definitely helped. Good trade from Angel there. Not using his QE, the Molten Fissure, though, to push out the wave the second time. Used up the first time to chip it. Not here, though.
Get that level 2 coming on forwards, and that will be the likes of a handshake available for LP often, because you could be really obnoxious with that. Surprising how long you can hold someone before you move them. You don't have to immediately yank someone in a direction.
I'd say it's about, you know, a quarter of a second, which feels a lot longer when you're playing against it. Hang on, Minion comes in. Level 3, level 2. Oh, Zucker's in a lot of trouble now.
He is. Doesn't have a loyalty for the not loyalty program. The adaptive defenses in a moment or two, but 5 seconds is still a long time in terms of laning.
And also the W misses, so he doesn't get the heal either. So ZDZ getting good control over this topside matchup. We did say, you know, early game is kind of Nars to lose. Camille does have a brief window where maybe you can play around your adaptive defenses in your first couple of E's and W's of the game. ZDZ getting good plays through here. Thorn Shield has regened up Zucker a little bit, but ZDZ good wave control.
Sweep again. It only clears out the minions, no tag onto ZDZ themselves. Boomerang goes wide.
On missed out on 1 million of XP, it looks like. We set down at that level 2. Losing a bit of CS, you do expect. That Zenith Blade just misses. Not able to get something onto LP there. Skarner on the bot side of the map. Vi on the top side, so no jungle support coming in from EDG. They are just looking to get XP and minions as much as they can before LNG start making plays around the Callisto.
Vi very swift on the reset here. Going to try and make sure that she's back with some items and can sort of barrel towards the bot side of the map and try and defend against. And he looks in from the likes of the Skarner. 3 wards straight up and out by LNG to ensure they know exactly what's going on the blue side.
Which means that Xiaohao would have to go through lane if he wants to go undetected, which is not going to be the case. Where does he head from here? Ah, no, he hasn't been spotted just yet. But if he walks over here, will be spotted by the wall, which is outside of the brush, and will do. So, spotted on the bot side of the map, LNG will have advanced warning that Xiaohao is in their area.
Skarner has reset though, but throws down a control ward. Still going to be on vision as he heads towards that Gromp, but nice little toggle from the observer to make sure that we know, that LNG know, that Xiaohao was bot side.
Yeah. Arn gets to recall in 30 CS, LP gets to recall in 35. That's the important thing, by the way, when it comes to the first levels of the game, is what CS are you recalling on? Because you look at the numbers afterwards when you're in lane. Yes, one player has gold. Can they actually spend it, though? It actually depends when you rack on it. So, Arn still gets to go back for a longsword and a tier. Feels okay about that.
Lane swap comes on through as well. Zucker sent bot side. Kalista and Arta now back towards that top side, looking to be around for grubs and to get some value out of some of the lane swap changes we have been granted in League of Legends as is. Basically, after the 3.5 minute mark, your turret defenses disappears. EDZ nearly at Mega. Not really under too much threat as yet.
Trying to just snipe that one last minion. Xiaohao spotted on the bot side of the map. And whereas last game, LNG took a very long time to take their first dragon of the game when they were focusing on grubs, Xiaohao immediately takes this one away. Basically, earliest possible opportunity for EDG. Important thing, of course, for them is that they get to keep the Corki away from the Callisto. Camille, I suppose, being hidden from the Gnar matchup in the early levels too. That means it's not the biggest thing ever. And Shake goes onto ZDZ. Needs to be a little bit careful here. Drops out of vision. Slow lands onto Callisto. Takes a decent amount of damage. And this is an Gnar on the weak side of the map. With that amount of HP, ZDZ might have to go recall and figure out something after.
Paul gets a grasp proc onto 50-50, but now towards Mini. Tries to steal big proc, but down to 1 HP it goes, and ends up being 50-50s to take. Bot side, stun onto the Camille, who doesn't get the hook shot properly, but still gets on the tower okay enough.
Now Zucker's going to look to try and wave clear out, get as much XP as possible. Gnar can teleport onto A side of the map, is resetting now, gets himself to steel cap. Zucker, how much has he got? He doesn't get himself towards level 6 just now, does have a decent amount of HP.
He's not miles off 6 if he can get to the wave, will still just die here, tries to play it out, the adaptive defense is not enough and just gets blown up. Wink picks it up with the Ignite.
Well played for EDG to just allow the Shield of Daybreak to start the CC chain, meaning that there was no flash out play available. ZDZ not able to get onto his side of the map though. Where the hell is that Gnar going? Actually, soaking XP in mid lane. Right, wants to get towards level 6, maybe charge up towards Mega Gnar on the minions and then go towards top side. We'll be walking up there now, being shadowed by Angel. Hopefully trying to stop that Callisto getting too much here for free.
Gets a couple of plates, but Corki manages to largely match that bot side. A plate behind, but it's not that bad. Of course, the assists in as well, so really bot lane stay even enough, even if there is that minor lead to LP right now on reset. But that is the full Berserk Greaves done for Callisto, which is always a big spike for her.
Question in chat, have LNG changed their roster recently, or is it the Splamans then split one? It's a roster change. This is the first matches we've seen from 50-50 in the jungle, and for LP in AD carry. Photic and Weiwei being subbed out by LNG, who had struck. What the heck was Wing doing? Oh, I think he was, okay. He didn't want to actually land the E because he didn't want to get shuffled under turret, so he's like, I'm going to cast this at you and see if you blink to stop that recall. That's kind of nice, sir, actually. He lands at center plate. He would get shuffled under the turret. Took it going towards this bot side again. Still has flash, has ult now. On gets adaptive defenses triggered onto him. This one was a lot of damage, doesn't it, early on?
Does. Zucker doing his best here to be valuable, but again, I think at this point the Camille needs to get to a couple items and probably try and outplay what looks like another dive incoming. Over comes Skarner though. This might be a bit of a good counter gank from the Skarner.
Well, it might have to be. Has flash, has ult. This is actually a little scary here for EDG. I don't think you want to dive this. Not into Camille with flash. Of course, didn't blow it the last time. With ult as well.
Here we go.
If you walk up like this, I think you got to be careful. I think you got to call this off right now.
Turn around instead onto the Skarner, who's going to flash away, but over comes looking for an angle. Had a bad time into Skarner the last time we saw it, but it won't happen this time. and Xiaoho picks the kill on the Skarner. The counter gank is counter ganked.
Wonderful pivot from EDG. Alright, maybe going towards the Camille too much. As soon as you see the Skarner, the Camille isn't an option. But the Skarner is themselves, and 50-50 doesn't get the memo themselves. You know, the rookie jungler coming from LDL, not really in the presence of mind to make something work there. ZDZ should be fine on this top side, can wave clear out with the Gnar, gets the wave clear.
It's a big stun actually onto Joro, who has to get Fates called out to safety.
ZDZ unlucky to not kill every minion there and get the turret aggroed onto them earlier. Really well played from ZDZ to outplay his own situation on top side.
Doesn't force a reset from the bot lane. It's a bit of time for ZDZ to shove out and deny some of that pressure that was going on, and denies another turret plate take. So honestly, as far as Gnar is concerned, more than a worthy trade. The Molten Fissure comes down in mid lane for the fake equalizer. Wait, apparently these days involved in copying of this painting. He traces other people's art. How dare he?
Man. Yeah. Trace, by the way, broken ass ability in Pokemon.
Can be. Regard of what has it occasionally. Nice has Trace. It's the other psychic type, probably.
Yeah, when you go towards... Hang on, this is a Skarner without flash and without
no.
This is a problem. I think this could be... Oh, Zenith Blade misses. Gets out safe for now.
Just about wide. Nice drive out, but it means the red buff stays alive and the Skarner's okay. Arn in a 1v2. Get to spear pulled out of him and he goes ow, but doesn't lose too much more than that.
Yep. Bot lane's not doing too bad here from EDG though, considering it's get close to Renata.
Yeah. They're up 100 gold.
Well, yeah, that's very good. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, it's slightly a side advantage to Callisto, and I forgot colors mean things in this game. But yeah, the Cork Leona being even at this point in the game basically is that.
What color does brown mean, Alex?
It means you've scrubbed too long in the bath.
That is such a deep cut. You know what? We're going to avoid green. It's not a creative color.
It's not a creative color.
It's not a creative color. Instead, talk about things like blue and red numbers, because there's a fair number of red numbers right now for EDG, and only one blue number, and it's 100 gold in mid lane, which isn't all that successful. Second dragon is spawned. EDG going to start off as Angel. Listens to his better Angels and flashes out to safety, but does have to burn the flash.
I do wonder whether Angel could have hit him with the Grim Visage and get him CC'd. Maybe just didn't have that on cooldown. If he's walking up without a CC there, not really sure why he's walking up at all, but still, get away with that flash. 50-50, we'll go towards the top side and take the grubs.
It's not going to be 50-50, is it? We're going to get 6 grubs, that's 100% of them.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be full set, though, is the thing, because he walks over and gets 1. LNG not in a position to contest. Hang on, LNG, come on. You got to be ready to contest one of these sides of the map.
Wow.
Don't get either. Don't contest the dragon, even though the Callista's there. Don't move it up towards the growth of the second spawn, so they can't play around that. So they don't get themselves, the amount of grubs that they'd like. They're against 2 dragons and 2 grubs as well, so EDG don't feel that bad about that. EDG quite close towards their own feats of strength too.
Vi's also pretty heavily out farming here as well. There's a significant amount of camps up. There aren't really that many more camps for 50-50 to take either to catch up in the grand scheme of things, whereas Vi's actually got her camp respawning, is going to go over towards the Scuttle Crab bot side as well. Sun and Sky done already. This Vi is in a really good position this game.
Xiaohao, good gold lead on this Vi. This Vi is going to do a lot of work, and Xiaohao, a player which has, like most of the players in this game, due to the position their teams are in, mixed results over the last few years. Xiaohao has gone from being, one of our top prospects within the league, being picked up by Weibo last spring of 2024, to not really having a result which justified that pickup, getting benched after a split, and then Tarzan came in. There's no shame in being benched for a player of that caliber in the LPL. On this EDG roster, I thought Xiaohao could be something special for this team. Has had moments of it, but it's just not been consistent enough. EDG, much like the rest of the members on their team for Xiaohao, all kind of in that similar spot.
They have, the gold remains pretty close. A slight lead to EDG. The problem is when you're running a Callista game, that's not what you want to see. At least the Camille for Zucker, despite having died on the turret that once, is kind of even in farm, and that's not bad news. The problem is at this point, you are looking for 2 items, and that is going to be 10 minutes away yet. So that Camille value, limited for the grand scheme of things. 4 grubs at least allow her to have some side lane pressure once that Trinity Force at least is completed.
2 item Camille is often the break point. 3 items is where you start to go overload, but I don't really know if LNG are going to be able to get towards that point cleanly. They haven't. Well, last game was a disaster. Really, couldn't make any plays really without something going horribly wrong. Haichao going towards the Leandri's build hasn't got lethal tempo. So it doesn't have that much attack speed. Has an okay sweeping build. Hasn't gone for the grasp if you want to go like full tank, but I suppose even the tank here doesn't go towards that now. I feel like Angel's in a great point of power there. The Blackfire Torch, as soon as you get that on the equate, you feel very good about life.
Down 10 Tiesto, but doesn't care too much. Gets another plate. And again, the game remains relatively slow here. Problem is, slow games seem to have favoured EDG because LNG have been very lackluster in their proactive plays. They felt disjointed, they felt slow, they felt mistimed. Game 1, I remember that top lane tier 1 defense that felt very anemic.
That's a sign of a team that's got substitutes. Not everyone's on the same page. Making plays happens a split second later because you need to align a little closer. Your comms maybe aren't on point to the same level as well. Whereas EDG, you know, despite their flaws, are a team that have stuck together and they communicated better than LG so far. At that Triforce spike, very, very happy with that. EDG, they do need to be afraid of overforcing their own plays though. I think if you overforce into a Kalista Renata, you can then use the Kalista ult. Renata ult to kind of turn plays around unexpectedly. Skarner can fly through walls. Camille, one of the quickest response champions in the game. They don't feel free to make plays themselves, which is why the game's slowed down a little bit. We'll see them play around the next dragon. They will want to be dragon stacking. The Cloud Rift, very, very helpful for the likes of Gnar, particularly to walk up and get good value in terms of running into melee range as that Mega Gnar. But until then, they'll chill, try and get themselves a good dragon setup, and see if LNG flounder again around the big objectives.
Wink goes and stands defensively on a blast cone. Backs away as 50-50 and the bot lane of LNG walk into the river. 30 seconds on that dragon. It'll be sole point for EDG. Suspect they may want to play for that. We've got 2 kills in 15 minutes. Still feats of strength to play for in general here. LNG in the river though with most of the control. EDG looking that interested in walking in as yet.
Well, they did just use Mega Gnar on top side as well, which is not great in terms of the rage timing. Of course, it did hit level 11, so it has the lower cooldown of that ult. If Kalista gets onto the dragon, just gets to rend it away, do we just give up a dragon? I would have liked them to fight this, not gonna lie. I feel like getting towards an early soul point would be so important. I don't think they're unable to right now.
I kind of agree. They are now still coming over and contesting. Got decent poke options, and that seems to be what they're relying on. I'm watching Vi leave. They're gonna go for the Herald instead.
Okay, so not going towards the dragon. A little bit disappointed in EDG for giving up such easy setup. I guess against the Kalista Renata, we did say don't want to overplay things. Playing it safe, and LNG will get themselves onto the dragon counter.
I feel like they had the setup, and it would have been an interesting force, I suppose. So give that one up. We'll still take the Herald, and that will also be the feats of strength objective marker.
It will be, yeah, it will be, and also worth pointing this out as well, Herald has more value in 0 tower games, because you then get to force a tower when everyone's trying to wave clear. They won't use it up towards here, they'll use the demolish. What's happening on the other side of the map? Haichao will be pushing that tower. Do we get a split screen for this? Who's killing it? It doesn't have the Nash's Tooth, even with the 4 corrupt, so you won't take that first. EDG get themselves the feats of strength. Herald now available to use presumably on mid lane tower, but it can be used to open up anyone on the map if they choose.
There we go. He said feats of strength for EDG was they claim that objective and then immediately tower after. So they get the strong shoes.
Question in chat, help me settle an argument please. Barring an unfortunate game 3 yesterday, Fake was overall better than Chovy. Game 1 and 2 were Faker favored. I mean, the rise into the Galio, I think Faker played the individual matchup very well. I think his team fights were less impactful. I think both were actually very, very good. That's the kind of thing I'd like to VOD review, because they were both playing
out of their minds, yeah.
That being said, I do think that on the whole, I mean, the Ara game was
yeah.
really, really good. So I think it's actually comparable. I wouldn't say one was straight up better than the other. Both were playing at a very high level.
Yeah, I don't want to get in too much order, but I think there will be some like stuff for both teams to review, because I think,
well, yes, obviously, especially when it's getting that close.
Yeah.
Herald summon in mid lane. EDG. I mean, it's a chunk. They won't be able to stop this going all the way through. So that's half the HP down. Not the best Herald ever, not gonna lie. Did you remember they gave up a dragon for this one, so he was going forward, but hang on, you might have gone a bit farther now.
50's there, and a Q2 secures the big raptor, so it gives up the camp, but Angel gets the turret on the other side while all this is happening.
And the Haichao does have an XP lead and a gold lead. But stopping the recall, which means that...
Can they rotate mid? Toss away bot.
Yeah, what does that mean, actually? It stops the recall? What the hell does that even mean? There's no wave in mid to push with that. There's a wave lost in bot side.
I think it was a double stack wave, I think.
I mean, Wink, buddy, you don't have ult now. Oh, come on, Wink.
He's gonna die for this.
Yes, he will.
There's the hostile takeover.
Oh, for God's sake,
That was a bit poor. Angel now potentially in danger as Kalista was hopping towards him aggressively.
What the hell was that?
A poor series of decisions. Root onto Jaw, who stood in the gaze of the abyss and regretted that.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. If you're looking to play, well, yes, we'll cancel the recall so they'll be later towards bot lane, which means we can make another play. At least make another play on top of that, right? I don't get using that solar flare in that way. Wink's gone for Symbiotic Souls, it's worth noting, so he has the increased reset speed. And of course, they have the out-of-combat mobility speed now as well. As you can tell, folks, we're talking about two teams which have not really found the mark yet in this split.
This will be an interesting one to track for sure. Nabs some of the minions. 50-50. Goes down upheaval and a smite. Gaze at the abyss behind me. He might have to choose a bit of an odd way out. Won't have that much threat on him. That much damage on the side of Angel as yet. Needs that Leandry's completed, I think, really to feel like the burn is truly sticking on people.
When it comes to these next fights, we'll have a couple of answers to a couple of very fun questions, which is partly about scaling and power spikes, because you think, oh, Kalista and Ara, it's got to be an early game team. The Skarner one item early game team. Well, Skarner obviously scales very well. But this is the thing, right? You have solo laners and LNG, which also scale very well, and I think LNG walk away from this point of the game, despite not having a hyper snowball Kalista and stuff. I don't think they're unhappy with how things are going. I think their team fight execution gets a little bit strange, though. You do need to be playing very on point with... God damn, good damage, man. You need to be playing very well around your Kalista going forwards and Camille and Skarner going forwards at the same time. If you're not coordinated with this team comp, it looks very bad.
Hey, Al, did you know that Arn had the Romana transformation with really big sheen procs?
I do know.
Yeah.
Was that invented 7,000 years before the wheel?
It was, yeah. You know why? Because Arn got. Or rather, LP got.
Skarner coming in.
Turret coming on Skarner looking for Impale. Isn't that an appropriate term, considering the conversation?
I have a fun fact. Do you know how long scorpions can hold the hack? Do you know how long scorpions can hold their breath for? 17 days.
What?
17 days a scorpion could go without oxygen.
How?
Because, the arachnid, small creature size, gets to hold on to the oxygen very well.
I suppose.
Yeah. Dragon gets started up. LNG going to be late towards this one. This is just going to go, and hang on, are we going to get dragged by? Nope. Goes away. 3 dragons, soul point for EDG.
That one they felt like they had a much better setup for. Honestly, Arn in the 1v2, just dragging the bot lane out of position, having to reset before that dragon spawns. Great play from him. It might be low action, but that's a good play.
See Monty's in chat saying, I too can go without oxygen for 17 days. I mean, you can. You will also die.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you could do it, but only once.
Yeah, a lot of humans can, but they tend to be found in a graveyard.
Yeah. Well, actually, at that point, it's more like, I don't know. Places without oxygen, really.
Well, yes. But I feel like there's probably more humans in graveyards.
Oh, they can blow bubbles around themselves when they're underwater. That's awesome. That's so cool. I didn't even know that. Very cool.
Hang on, invade. That's going to find the Camille, and the jungle's got deleted. Oh my god, Arn.
I mean, that champion's just been completely deleted. LNG can maybe get themselves mid lane turret in response. Teleport coming in. I think LNG might even oversave to go if this solar flare comes forward.
It's only onto Renata. We'll have a Fate's Call to keep her alive, and that's why they don't overforce onto it, but it will force that Fate's Call and out of the mid lane wave. All the while, look where ZDZ is. He's on tier 2.
There might be a shuffle up here. No, there isn't. But LNG are now behind the map. You can tell that they're a step behind in this dance. They get caught out on the top side. They're a little late towards mid lane, which means they're a little late towards top side, which now means they're late towards mid lane again. EDG just a little quicker, a little more coordinated, and this is the sign of a team with substitutes. Draw gets burst and dies.
Also, Arn is on fire. That was absolutely brutal stuff. That is 3 plays in a row we have now seen from this Corki where he just turns people to dust.
You know, completely against this, by the way. Hang on, was there a red buff steal? No! Loses the red buff too? You're kidding me?
It's not a 50-50.
You know, back when I was in primary school, in year 6, where you had to do like a big kind of report on something. You had to choose a topic and write about it. And I chose spiders for mine.
Oh, did you? I chose
spiders.
Snakes.
It's snakes, and I thought, you know what, spiders, they're kind of cool. Those are right things. You know how you can... This is a fun fact. I have another fun fact about spiders. Do you know how you can tell whether a species of spider is kind of like, quote-unquote, an ancient spider or more modern kind of evolution?
Isn't it to do with the pincers?
It is. It is about the pincers. It's the direction in which their pincers go. If they go from up to down like a pickaxe, they are an older species of spider, which evolved, you know, much further down the line. And if they're more modern, it's kind of side to side, more like pincers.
Huh.
Yeah. So those mandibles definitely show a lot. Out Ratakan on the bot side, getting focused by
XDD.
I swear to God, Tatakan is what Casual Scat's been called. How have they not done Ratakan yet?
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was crazy once. Got stuck in a pit. A bot lane pit. The pit was filled with Raticars.
Yeah, I go crazy too, Sam. It's already a close run thing on a lot of days anyway.
Arn at this point is going to be very problematic, I feel. Because the Callista is an okay-ish spot. Angel misses the Grim Visage, is now in danger. Flash Impale misses with a Huckstech ultimatum still comes on through. Turnaround coming on board with Zucker, who flashes out to safety. The hostile takeover is going to be well Locket shielded. Now 50-50 and Zucker very low. ZDZ on a flank, no Meganar. We can do a lot of just base damage. And a QW from downtown ensures that the Severing Bolt severs the life force of the Skarner, who cannot breathe underground.
No, they can't. This is a miscoordinated LNG. The team fight is just not what they need. They missed the Impale. This needs to be a very coordinated team, and it just hasn't been what they needed. EDG pick up a very easy fight as soon as Angel escapes the engage.
Now looking for potential engage. They've got Q available on Vibe, but no ultimate, so the Vault Breaker doesn't turn into all that much. Not looked at Atakan, but looking to try and get some damage out of ZDZ nearly at Mega. Forces to back out of the minion wave in mid.
Wait, someone in chat saying, I love you. Know that? Someone who works at a reptile park, which also included spiders. Don't ask, that's such a fun fact. Well, look, I don't have much of a social life right now, by the way, with video games. I watch way too many documentaries.
You are a documentary enjoyer.
Yeah, I'm actually currently enjoying a Treasures of Egypt in
oh,
God. Cool. That is
that's not a Treasure of Egypt.
No. I guess LNG will have to go grave robbing to go find out what a 50-50 wanted by that one.
What did 50-50 mean by that?
That's a great question, Sam. It's a great question. Makes I really feel like an ancient pharaoh right now. Tut tut tut. That was funny, Sam. You could at least have.
I actually, honestly, was reading chat and missed what you said. So please repeat.
Makes like an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. Tut tut tut.
That was actually really good. That genuinely was. I'm sorry I missed that. I was distracted. I'm sorry.
God. I mean, Azir's in the game. We can that's it. Look, we'll call it on topic. Dragon Spawn will be sold for EDG. LNG, they are rushing towards the dragon, but I don't think they get there particularly in good order.
Got a blast code to try and get in here. Half HP, but not found the angle as yet. In goes 50-50. Smite fight begins. EDZ looking to Meganar. Someone draw, but it's timed out here with the wall. Oh! Stolen by 50-50. Soul denied. Hostile takeover. Catches a couple, but they won't find that much as a spiraling despair on the other side. Chunks out the bot lane of LNG. Severing bolt onto LP is a bit more. In the end of the day, EDG go into the pit and don't come out with Dragon. Nice steal.
50-50 gets his first LPL. 50-50 wins the smite. I think Xiaohao wanted to do something different in his head. He wanted to queue onto the Skarner and maybe kill, but didn't realize that by queuing through the objective, he would also be bringing it down into smite range. 50-50 didn't actually do any damage to the dragon besides the smite. Typically when you see a smite steal, it's because you've gone in with a Lee Sin Q and that. You've got a Maokai Q and the smite. No extra damage came through and just ends up using the Vise Q, gets the timing right, gets the kill.
There we go. 2 items finally completed for Zucker. That's something on the Camille. It just feels like it might be a little too late. We'll see. The game is only 3,000 gold apart. That is significant, but not unbeatable Problem is, compositionally, this Kalista is not in a fantastic spot. The Azir's at least at 2 items, but he's gone for the Zhonya second, so damage-wise, the Azir's still really waiting on a 3rd item, maybe even a 4th to be a true threat.
So your actual ability with your damage with abilities is nice. It's just kind of not great with your actual uptime with DPS, and that could end up being an issue. I suppose you have a Kalista that's got 2 items, but it's not a Kalista that's ahead. Angel will want to wave clear through this now. Doesn't end up using his crushing maw to get that extra kind of damage onto the wave just there. Mid lane turret still goes towards Haichao. Lucky to get away with that one. And what the hell was that, Wink?
Oh, tried to read Haichao. Misses both abilities, and Wink blinked.
Yeah, that's why you aim with both eyes open, folks. Don't want to be winking while you're pulling. Yeah, don't want to be doing that when you're looking at your target. EDG, I thought this game was kind of dead to rights for LNG, but EDG have been showing their own inaccuracies through this. 50-50 going through the wall. That'll be a clean tower take.
Saw Han resetting there and a Skarner over the wall. Didn't have flash though, so I think perhaps I was being a little over there. Either way, the tier 1 finally falls him in. That evens up the tower take thresholds. And EDG, despite of better fights we've seen from them, haven't really put the nail in the coffin yet. And LNG, enough breath to hold on for at least 16 more days.
I have another fun fact, Sam. I guess it kind of applies to Skarner because they're kind of like this. You know, lobsters technically immortal under the right circumstances. Hang on, ZDZ. Less so, sadly. He's going to be fine, actually. I was wondering whether there'd be anything more there. But lobsters only die when they go to molt and increase their shell size. They kind of shed their old shell and they get a new one. And they can't get out of it. And they don't have the strength to kind of break out of the tougher kind of shells. So there is actually an idea to create a religion around keeping a lobster alive for as long as possible and just keep deshelling it, because we can help them with that, and kind of like have an immortal lobster that way.
Does it ever hit a point where it can't breathe properly? It's too big.
Not that I know of.
Have a giant, like, blue whale-sized lobster under the sea, fighting with colossal squid.
Yeah, and the reason we know, technically colossal squid and giant squid are still classified as cryptids because we see so little of them. Colossal squid, I don't think we've ever seen a living one. The only reason, now we know they exist because we've seen bits of them attached to whales and stuff like that as they're eaten by them. 50 is taking a lot of damage from this Corki now. This is a new Corki build that we saw from Knight yesterday.
Yes.
You go towards Shojin and Black Cleaver instead of full crit later, and you get so much HP you just jump at people. Zucker left alone on the side. I don't know if he makes it out of this one. He has flash, but there's too many people on the side of the map.
Oh no, that's a failed flash. Zucker still got flash, still got Hextech ultimatum. Flashes the soul flare.
They're going towards Baron on the other side. Hang on. We've got a Baron started up on the other side. LNG said, look, Zucker will take long enough to die that we get something out of this. Zucker might even go for the 1v1 onto Nut. EDG, they're floundering a bit now. They need to go towards this. Baron just taken by LNG. EDG failed to pick onto the kill. They don't even kill Zucker. What the hell are you doing, EDG?
40 seconds on Dragons. They might still get soul point. They've got a wave shoved mid. They can't claim the tier 2 though. And the goal comes back to within touching distance. That's 1,000 gold behind now. Well, that just happened. Nash's tooth now completed for the Azir. Terminus completed for the Kalista. We are in a playable game state for LNG.
How has this happened? EDG, ever since that Dragon fail, it feels like EDG have not had a plan B. Adacon's down the table. EDG, come on. You are better than this. You should be better than this. We've been saying that the whole damn year. You should be better than this. Don't actually know.
No, just a hop.
No. Dragon available. Soul would be on the table for EDG, but do they feel like they can contest? I mean, surely you feel like you've got to contest at some point, folks.
Yeah, Atakan now comes on down. Will be a known quantity for EDG. Meganar has timed out recently, though, so EDG desperately trying to build back towards it, but they've got spear stacking. This won't be an even fight. They need to go in and try and play for this. If they get the withdrawals over, I think it's just going to be over.
EDG are going towards the Dragon. Instead, that's going to be the ultimate from Renata. Zucker goes in onto Angel.
Gets a decent chunk onto the back of that Camille, who will taken out surely by the Spiral of Despair. Does so 50-50, now in danger. The shuffle is absolutely whipped. Backside for ZDZ. All of the withdrawals are gone. That's so...
They get the Atakan, they get the Baron against the runner play, they completely run into the Dragon. Use their withdrawals. I suppose they keep the Baron buff because they don't truly die, but that's Cloud Soul over to EDG now. This is This is a game between two teams in Nirvana Group, folks.
Well, today we have witnessed the greatest of League of Legends experiences. That last 5 minutes, among the most League of Legends I have League of Legends did ever.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Look, you have to be coordinated when you go in. Camille has an crazy long engage range, but it's not like that. It's... I mean, where does the Impale even go? He doesn't even use the Impale. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Have we seen a good Impale this game?
No, we've seen one onto Wink, I think. Baron Buff's still up and available, as we were saying before. LNG wanting to push in with that, but they are against the Cloud Soul now, which means EDG get to run at them a lot more easily. Elders, of course, on the table too. We might be going late game, folks. We will see if EDG can get themselves a big fight with this Cloud Soul buff.
And they've got a GA now on this fight. He's going to look to go forward, gets run into the wall, into an Impale as we think about it. The Solar Flare is into Narnia. Xiaohao's still fine. The Ruby still got the Mega on LP, bailed up. And to what end? He's just dead. Kalista does not get to Kalist anything. And now Xiaohao goes Vault Breaking forward, and Hightower will blast code him away, saying nope. But they lose the Kalista, and they have to break off that Baron shove, which goes to very little in the end.
Yeah, it's less than 1,000 gold, I think, in terms of the overall tower play, with the kill going down. Don't know whether it's technically a shutdown onto the Kalista because they haven't died for the whole game. Typically, that tends to be the way when you go into late game. You just pick up some random extra gold for killing those deathless folks on the map. How do you judge this game now? I mean, extra items coming through. You do have a late game Camille. Zuka could be a solo carry. Haichao could technically be that on the Azir as well, heading towards almost level 18, but just hasn't used that gold on the Azir well at all.
Zuka gonna have to hook shot away.
Oh, Wink is so fast. He's so fast with Cloud Soul in the boots.
He just gets a walk at Zuka into the Zenith Blade. Soulfire is well buffered out of though with that Hextech ultimatum. So Zuka, nice hands to get on out of there. The problem solving solid in Veps.
Yeah, Starks and the Merc Treads give him a lot of tenacity. Reminder that Starks do give you that. So able to get out of the ER combo from the Leona. Angel on wave clear duty on the top side. We're within 1,000 gold at 35 minutes. This is, I would still call this a much better situation for LNG than they had any right being. Zuka now has 3 items. Draw needs to be a little bit careful.
Flashes.
Flash away from Wink. Wink is really on the hunt with the move speed.
He's so quick. There's a cease and desist. There is no Kalista nearby quite yet. So that'll just be a dead Renata. No way to Fate's call her to safety. You lose your support.
Really dangerous playing against Cloud Soul and those Symbiotic Souls. Mobies plus extra Mobies from the Dragon as well. EDG.
And we start playing Extreme Wave.
I was going to make a joke about that. Damn, that was a great song. For those of you that never listened to Moby in like the 90s, well, I say in the 90s, I was, to be honest, like a baby back then. But if you haven't listened to Moby, that is the sound of the 90s. Fatboy Slim and Moby.
Very true. Okay, this is it. Hands in chat in the YouTube. It's Valley League of Legends, and this is the term I came up with.
It's the opposite of peak League of Legends. It's
yeah,
like it's peak, but like the negative peak. It's
yeah,
like, wow, we're really seeing both these teams at their worst, huh?
But the thing is, for me, Valley League of Legends is still enjoyable. It's still entertaining. League of Legends. It's just really scrappy. I'm not sure I'd call this Valley in that sense.
No, it's not quite like, you know, the Minecraft movie, which is so bad it's good again. I am a bit of a connoisseur of bad movies. For those of you who've never watched
the Minecraft movie,
I kind of want to watch it just so I say,
yeah.
First we mine, then we craft. Let's Minecraft.
Yeah,
that is an actual line from the Minecraft movie.
Fantastic.
Chicken jockey.
Apparently, going to watch it with a group of middle schoolers is the correct way. It's
yes.
like full id experience.
Yeah. If you like bad movies out there, folks, go watch The Room. That's like that's your intro movie by Tommy Wiseau, of course. And then I would suggest Birdemic.
That's great. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer
You
Tomatoes.
have to say tomatoes because that's how the theme is.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Which basically involves giant, slightly vibrating, like fake tomatoes, sort of killing people slowly on screen, and then clearly production off
Sam,
screen
you know what?
throwing tomatoes at people in like a hail of doom.
I would take some Killer Tomatoes here to end off this game. There's a 2-man on Baron right now. LNG have been denied entry into the pit. This will go down, and EDG, do they look for a fight afterwards, or do LNG start it first?
Flash for the Impale, but it's only being under one person. ZBZ's kind of fine. He turns around, the hostile takeover hits onto no one. There is no taker of anything, hostile or otherwise.
Haichao!
Out of the way, just get a massive out shuffle in, and gets on! How does this happen? They've lost and they can go towards Baron!
No, that's the game! That's the game!
Oh my god!
EDG completely throw the game. Oh god, we're getting 3 games of this.
Just take the Baron! Just let the person die and kill the purple worm!
Are you kidding me?
we're still here. All right, ZDZ, you've got Cloud Soul alongside a GA on your bike. Can you clear the wave? You've got to try, shoved into the wall. Doing their best, nearly at Mega Nut. That might buy you some time.
This is the game. This is the game. They have the wave. There's no HP left on the Vi. ZDZ has a Mega Nut, but I don't think it's enough.
There's the Mega. They need to clear the wave desperately. In they go to wallop and crash it, shove them away, but the next star is still going to go down. And LNG, against all reasonable sense, bring us to game 3. Carefully.
Ezreal Karma locked in. I mean, the Varus is strong enough in lane that I don't think it's going to blast lane in the same way. I think EDG might have cooked a little too hard. I think this is going to be Gragas' support. I think he used it for the Q poke and sustain in lane. You have just given Sylas a better ult than you, though, because he builds a lot of AP. So there's some worry about that. Ezreal Karma doesn't give you much engage. LNG basically need to look for Highchat to have a ridiculous ult or Pantheon to get the engage done.
I also want to say, we had a really important comment in chat as well from Burfon, who's just joined. Welcome. Thank you for the follow, and welcome to the community. Saying the game, what, 2? To game 3 we go, and we'll let the crowds yell for a second or 2.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。还有3天，还有30秒到达战场，碾碎。
There was a point in chat as well, which I did actually largely agree with, saying, well, why didn't you pick the... Hang on a second. What's the LP? Is that desynchronized audio? It's a little bit, isn't it? Do I want to refresh the stream? Maybe I do that. Folks, I'm just going to refresh the stream very, very quickly to see if we can get audio on a little bit better. Of course, very, very nice. It'll skip forward just a bit now. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. You gonna skip? Yeah, there we go. Cool. But hopefully the audio is a little bit more in sync now.
By the Tea of Dreams.
Nice, cool. I'm glad for you. What kind of Tea of Dreams is it, Sam?
Lapsang Souchong, one
see,
of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, it is nice. I hope you realize that when you walk in like that, you actually can't be heard on the microphone.
I thought you could if I yelled loud. You could.
That's not loud at all. You're from the side of the mic. There is.
I feel like, chat, can you hear me from over here?
I don't know, chat. Can you hear him from over there? Very, very dull. I'm going to imagine, Sam.
Can you hear me?
I can hear him. I can hear you, kind of. Kind of. Which is what I meant in the first place, really. So Wink has taken that Gragas down into that support role, trying to play it as more of that kind of poke mage in the bot side. Has sustain, which does help against the Ezreal Karma. So maybe Wink, this bit of the cooking, I actually don't mind. I think that helps quite a lot. I'm a little surprised by the on-hit Varus, but you are into that Sante, so it helps a lot. Level 1 E-Star, that's the aftershock. That's a little bit of damage down.
You've got so much disengage as well. That ability to stand and deliver with the tankier build and have all the tools to try and keep you safe.
Yeah.
I can see how you play it out as on this game at the very least.
Yeah, no, actually the on-hit, I don't mind that, actually thinking about it again. You have to have some way to deal with the melee range divers coming onto your top side. Angel, he can help with a bit of the poke. You do lose out a bit of range from it, but I suppose it's not like LNG contesting with that much range either. It's only really the Ezreal doing that, and Victor E can kind of win that battle alone.
Hey, Al, to go back to my yelling from the door point.
Yes.
There's an expert scientist, there's a VIP as well.
Yeah, I
who
know.
said he could, and therefore...
just listen to the VOD.
I know, I'm being silly. But all I'm saying is, like, I've got a scientific opinion, Alex, and that's clearly weighted more. I've got peer-reviewed.
Well, that's the thing. It's not peer-reviewed.
There's an expert scientist who just peer-reviewed it.
Wonderful. Hi, chat. You know, there's a really... there was... In fact, I think it was Narco playing a build of this. You can play Sundered Sky Sylas with Muramana because your passive crits and the actual extra damage of it crits. So if you go for Sundered Sky, your Petrified Burst will actually crit, and the Sundered Sky gives you the guarantee on the first auto attack on a target. So there are some really fun builds to get. Look, you're never going to see that here, especially in mid lane. You need the AP damage, of course. But still, just if you want to try cooking with something, try going crit Sylas in a normal game or something. It can be very funny.
Is it Sundered Sky into Muramana into...
I don't know. I didn't see it beyond that point.
Shield Bow?
Why would it ever be shield bow?
The crit and shield.
No, but you already have the instant crit from your Sundered Sky.
I see,
That's why you build the Sundered Sky.
Do you just get Infinity Edge to amp your crits?
Yeah, I can do, I guess. 50-50, walking up in mid lane, not able to get a good angle here. Haichao was trying to freeze the wave at a decent point to force Angel to be playing respectfully. Now, Xiaohao actually going to walk onto 50-50, stun for stun. Okay, Xiaohao. Red buff.
No, he's got that red buff. So flash with a body slam. Nice combo. The H-Assault Vice to have the heal as well. And a speed up will allow 50-50 to get out to safety, but a fair number of tools burned on both sides. Wink looks like he found a pretty good angle, but can't quite secure the kill.
I mean, it is only... Well, speaking of, tools burned, have there really been that many burned by LNG? It's just a heal. It's just heal.
Yeah,
Looking back in, I was thinking, oh, is it Pantheon Flash? You blow Pantheon Flash, that's a big win. Not the case. It's just the heal from the Karma. What you do manage to do is buy a bit of time for Varus to not play against the Ezreal Karma in a 2v2 scenario where the Ezreal Karma is really nasty to deal with. So you buy a little bit of time in the bot side and you force 50-50 to recall a little suboptimally.
Right, we need to shout up Mickey X after this. We'll hit him up on the wire, on the radio, and go, what do you think of Gragas support in this current meta in this game? As probably the premier Gragas support player in the world at the minute. I think he'd be the guy I'd talk to about it. I'm not even joking.
True, yeah, he was the Gragas mid lane player in solo queue, and then transitioned over to being a support, which worked out quite well for him. There was a big talk about role swaps recently, of course, with Niski in the LEC going from mid lane over to supports, and having mixed results so far. See exactly how far that takes him. LPL, of course, we've had a bunch of those. Well, not those. We've had probably the highest success player. We'll see. Ambition is also up there. One of the biggest success stories of Xiaohu winning an international tournament on both mid lane and in top lane.
Oh yeah.
Only players to win a major international tournament in 2 different roles. Absolutely insanity.
People really forget. I think that people really underestimate how insane Xiaohu's role swap was.
Yeah, for sure. It was Cryan who went to the mid lane. I think it's basically because roster stuff got weird, so they needed a top laner, so Xiaohu was like, I'll do it myself. We can get a mid lane, but not a top laner.
He was playing Syndra top and deleting people. It was
yeah,
wild.
Lucian's one of the best Lucian top
Level
laners.
4 for this Varus needs to be a bit wary, but that body slam tries the full combo mid lane. Already had the Chaos Storm stolen. And Angel gets out of range of that focused resolve, so there is no stun onto the Victor.
Dragon goes down. LNG actually do take the early dragon quickly this time. Left alone to farm the grubs. I think EDG might be in a bit of trouble here. Dragon walk up and look for a W. 2 of the grubs taken, but not the 3rd. No smite means they can't contest this. Do they go over for a fight with Angel at half HP? No, probably not. LNG, who've looked bad around objectives this series so far, at least get a good start here.
B. It's a buckler to the face. It's a steadfast presence will deny. The arcane shift allows that hammer shock to land.
Ooh.
Tried to look for the R, but can't quite find it. LP swift enough on that arcane shift. Wait, arcane mentioned?
Well, Sam, we literally have Victor in the game.
I know exactly. Do you think there's like something there?
The thing is that I will say, I don't actually think this Victor looks like the one in the show, which you haven't watched yet, by the way.
2 episodes to watch.
And also doesn't look like the old Victor that much. So I call him Gerald of the Arcane.
Gerald of the Arcane?
Yeah.
Why Gerald?
Because it's not the Herald of the Arcane.
Oh, I see. I see now. I now understand. Is it like a pun on the term Herald?
Yes, it is, because it's obviously not the Herald of the Arcane from
Hit Show Arcane.
Hit Show Arcane, and it's also not Victor from from League of Legends. Hi, Gerald. Goodbye.
Hey, Gerald. Leaves. On throws a Q out and kills a minion. How dare he?
Ezreal.
What about minion rights, Alex?
Ezreal E is a blink, not a dash. I don't know, Sam. Is that relevant to something that you said? Did you say
no.
it dashes out?
Oh, I think I said steadfast presence to try and deny the arcane shift out.
Which doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Yeah, I think I
it never has done.
No, I know. For some reason, I thought it did. In the heat of the moment, I thought that would be a thing. Flash away from Arn is now in danger. Gets to safety. No, he doesn't, because the Spectral Maw is not enough to deny the damage, and he goes down.
And sadly, Arn doesn't have that lesser seen dashing arcane shit to get out of that one. This is both summoners.
Yeah, that's fair.
And,
I see the silliness there.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Sam, we've had this conversation.
We did genuinely about Zed.
Sounds like, does Zed get blocked by Poppy W?
No,
because
no, it doesn't.
Poppy W stops dashes. Is it a dash?
No.
So it's not blocked by that.
Yeah, it's very
wow, so much logic on show here.
I know, right? I never said I was an intelligent human, Alex.
Yeah, neither would I.
Yeah.
That being said, I can't exactly claim that for myself a lot of the time too.
I have 2 degrees.
I play a lot of video games.
I did legitimately really well in my masters. I'm a legend. I've got a piece of paper telling me I'm actually really smart.
Was it? Wait, did you get a first in it?
Yeah, I did.
Damn.
In fact, I had papers that were publishable.
Nice. So, yeah, sometimes we goof around, but then you realize that some actually has qualifications sometimes. Crazy.
I had a paper called basically on. It's called the authored landscape, which is basically around how one plays with narrative as a game designer, because you can't treat it like a book or even a movie working with teams and also giving up a lot of authorial control to players, because games are inherently unfinished and require players to fill in the story.
Dungeons and Dragons follows along those kind of lines too.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're running a D&D game, if you try and write it like a book, the players don't actually play the game. So you need to allow them to have a bit of authority over the story itself. Anyway, fun business stuff. Of course, there's some stuff to be said about, League of Legends trying to work narrative into its own story as well. Actually, lands the Eve. There is a Pantheon on the side. Doesn't have Flash. Don't really think there's much to be played around here. Angel can just delete the next wave if he wants to.
Does indeed. Now Angel needs to be a little bit wary. He's got a Pantheon around, and with LP and Jork forcing Wink into an awkward pathing, there's actually a world where this Victor or even this Gragas can get jumped on. 50-50. Finds a Blastcone, forces a flash from Wink, who's trying to be in a defensive spot. Will burn that much into Corruption lands, but the HSL comes on, but just gets Blastcone, not Blastcone, barrel back into the team. It has a similar effect, I grant.
Yeah.
By virtue of displacement.
It's like, grow your own Blastcone. Gragas punts him back into the team, and 50-50. It's on the negative end of that sharp cutting knife this time. 1-for-1 in the early game, even in terms of
when do I get
gold.
Barnsley Gragas? He's just
Barnsley.
like a northern. He's like a northern bar, like a northern pub owner.
I'll have a cider. That's not
I'll have a morning pint.
Yeah. There was a friend of ours who is, when we were growing up in school, who grew up in America but was also born in Barnsley. So he was trying to play that I'm American on the full cards with it. I mean, I'm sure he'll accept that at this point. It's been enough years. He definitely played that card. But he was also born in Barnsley, so at occasion we just go, born in Barnsley.
we were very silly children. Used to wind him up. It was quite entertaining. Yeah. He gave as good as he got.
True. Yeah. Such is the way of things. Second grub spawn going to the side of LNG. They will get themselves the full set. I guess so. I don't think there's going to be contested time. Wow. He takes the second one. Be able to smite that last one down. I mean, Zerka needs to back off and potentially be in range to teleport. EDG not contesting.
Looking for the dragon instead by the looks of it, so they'll trade up on that one, but that should still be the objective marker if they claim all three. Actually left one up, didn't feel safe to stick around.
Gets the 3, doesn't want to go to the 4, even for the might buff, and just says, look, I don't want to spend the time doing this. Recalls now, I guess he wants to get back for his item completion, because he doesn't have that first item yet, and maybe be on call for the rest of the map. He gets first item out, yeah. He gets himself the goal for the Sundered Sky. Very important, of course, first item. Gives you a lot of damage. It's teleporting again. Yep, and now Panty can ult into the play if they want. This is a bit of an awkward set of teleports, though.
Barrel roll forwards. An explosive cast and stuff to work with. Out comes the Harrow Path. ZDZ behind. Grand Starfaller's in, but immediately shuttered the
great cast.
But the cast denies so much damage. Hydra can't get in anymore. And so they blow up the Pantheon. Wonderful ult from Wink.
That was a great ult from Wink. Wink's casks, the last two have been really, really good. Sets up a pick, this time punts away the extra people that could have put damage down. And reminder, this game is won with a Viego in it. Xiaohao is a very proficient Viego player. If you're a struggling team, sometimes reset and win is a win condition in itself.
And I remember in draft, we both said, this Pantheon is going to have to pick their ults very, very carefully. Because the moment you get in, the amount of disruption, the amount of displacement that EDG have to punish divers, especially if they get split off from the team, is pretty insane. Alex would love to talk. He's got a mouth full of truffle-flavored meat.
What do you have to say about that?
Am I wrong?
He's having some truffle salami. I can make it like that. LP gets himself his first item. 1,000 gold up. We'll say Xiaohao is in a really powerful point now, though. This guy is going to be really hard to take off the board. He's got a lot of extra HP. He can ult backwards from the single target CC as well. Actually, the more I think about it, LNG are going to really struggle to get stuff done unless Hydra has a mega game. If this Silas gets work done, sure. Big Chaos Storm, he can steal a cask as well. But you're not going to be able to Pantheon W Viego. You're not going to be able to stick in the fight particularly easily without, the Gragas cast putting someone under threat. I think EDG's team fights are so much more potent.
As we kind of said, like, LNG are obligated to get in and brawl. They've got Silas, a Pantheon, a Cassante. You really do need to get in and fight with those champions. You can't play from range, and diving into the Gravity Field, the Viego ulting away, into the Poppy, Steadfast Presence, into Chains of Corruption. The Varus is going to be building the on-hit, but getting surprisingly tanky as the game goes on. Never mind Gragas' entire kit. Finding your angles, especially from an even state or behind, is going to be a relatively unfun experience for LNG, I fear. They need to find those split up fights, those pounces on individual members, I think, rather than the straight 5v5s, because they are going to be hard.
They do have the tools to, you know, pick people randomly off. They have Pantheon ult for that. They've got Ezreal ult, which can follow up from long range too. Stealing Chaos Storm like that, of course, helps you with the side lane for now, but see exactly how much value Hijack can get out of stolen ults beyond this. Game's slowed down a little bit again. No Ruinous Atacon today. Reminder, folks, there is probably a reason why we're seeing less bloody play. The teams are struggling. LG have 2 substitutes, and if you lose this series, you are at the bottom of the pile early on for Group Nirvana. Bottom 2 teams just leave this year. They don't get anything more from the year, which is so disastrous for them. Both these teams, a lot riding on these kind of series.
Been playing relatively slow for the last 2 games.
So, Angel, really good spot for him. He's just been allowed to do whatever the hell he wants for the last part of the side lane game. It's 50-50, failed that kill onto him. Safety formed up, getting towards the Leandries. I think as soon as you get the Leandries on the Victor, I don't see how LNG team fight. You have to insta-kill the Victor. You can't do that through the HP from the Rod and the Leandries. You know, 7 stacks on it now, getting a lot of HP, close to getting the max out on it. Good sword stun to the wall.
The knock-up from that Keeper's Verdict. Wick looking for the cast back. Does it? Herald secured, now 50-50. Nowhere to go. No real woat to try and ult out either. Body stolen, kill secured for the Viego, and that's the 3rd kill of the game for EDG. They already have the feat of strength, having just claimed the Heralds. Life is good right now for EDG.
LNG do get themselves the mid lane outer turret, though, it's worth noting. So, LNG do get themselves a big advantage there, because taking mid turret means that you can maybe Pantheon onto someone who goes to protect that lane before our next objectives come up. and that's a good sign, but then that brings the question of, well, LNG, you have not pulled the trigger well. You're playing with substitutes. This is a struggling team. Can they do that? 50-50 was hanging around, but he sees the Herald going down, just doesn't expect EDG to be there. You'd expect him to be on bot side answering the inner turret push on the bot side of the map, but it's a free kill onto the Pantheon, just not expecting it to be there.
The body slam after, and Viego picks up a kill now. 3-0, Collector completed. This Viego will absolutely delete an erstwhile diver who goes in too far to try and claim the kill.
Now, is there going to be a play towards here? No, the Andrews and Victor, no real kill threat. The reason why the Collector is so good uniquely onto Viego, one, because it helps to get the the last tick of damage so you can get the resets through. That can be very important. His ultimate and his Q have crit scaling, which is very nice. And the Collector gives you lethality, a lot of AD, and armor pen from that lethality force, and then the crit does give you some extra burst as well. So it's less survivable for sure, instead of going towards something like a Sunder Sky or a Starix, but really good burst damage for the Viego, specifically who had crit damage put into his crit, so he didn't have to go for stuff like Prowler's Claw back in the day.
What you can then do is go Immortal Shield both third to get some more crit, and then kind of fake in that survivability by virtue of getting that shield. Does it still have lifesteal? I never do remember on that. No, just the shield, isn't it?
Hasn't done for
a while.
2 years now.
Yeah, I know, but I always second guess myself.
It does look red, and we do remember that 2020 and 2022 eras where it's like, okay, everyone has a million shields. You have like Death Stance shield though, and you just never die. Oh, that was a time.
Alright, EDG, now towards that mid lane, have got themselves that Herald to try and use that at some point. 2 for 2 in the turrets, top side turret being threatened now by Zucker, and with no one really there to stop this wave, I think there should be at least most of the turret. EDG will do their best to clear out the wave though, so not going to go down even with the Sheen Fox of the Ice Gauntlet.
We're even in gold for 2 towers apiece, even-ish in dragons. Grubs one piece, one set apiece as well. Oh, there's no big advantage, which means we're probably going to get a slower game. Victor getting pounced on the side lane. Wink is coming to answer. They do have a cast. That might be enough to save him.
Pretty scary. Flying forward with that focus. Falls on a flash away. And a wonderful cast again. Might be in danger. Gets away to safety. Locket shield is good. Drop. Depth is really low. Xiaohao stepping on forward. Trying to go to LP. Who's 1200 of the gold for LNG. He's gone. They get to hop on forward with the Viego in the body of the Fed Ezreal. Ult forward into the Spectral Maw. Gets another kill. They get the jungler, they get the bot lane, they'll get Atakan too.
There's your gold lead. EDG pull ahead. They'll get themselves the Atakan, and that will tie them over to the next dragon as well, if they choose to use it that way. EDG use that Viego so effectively, and a 5-kill Xiaohao now waltzing around the rift.
Yeah, he is so damn strong at this point. Atakan's gonna get taken, and for all the LP, 1.1k ahead, 1.2k ahead before that play. Should have been scary on the Ezreal. You don't survive that, because we'll see the attempt to play onto Angel. Flash from Joe to try and get that W down, but Wink, cast, flash, just deletes everything.
Wink's been fantastic this game. This Gragas, I thought it would be decent into the Ezreal Karma lane. Does that kind of, the sustain and the poke helps you against that early laning phase, but the playmaking is really where it's come alive. Great pick earlier on into the game. You disengage here. Can sometimes be very hard to play the Gragas when you fall behind because you're not tanky like you are in other roles with more gold. Has a locket now. Has the Solstice Slayer as well for move speed actually, rather than going towards something like the Celestial Opposition. Being everywhere on the map he needs to be.
Next to be Mountain Soul up. Winter transformed to Poppy now as well. There goes the Herald into mid lane. LNG coming to try and defend this.
There goes my Herald.
Watch him as she charges.
Probably could have just flows better, so
it does, but it's
yeah,
we're not playing Go though, are we? This is League of Legends.
No,
wrong game.
No. I think a lot of people say, well, why are the Foo Fighters fighting Foos? I've never seen it. It's because they're very good at their job. Yeah, they keep fighting those Foos. Yeah. The Man Dragon's going to go down. EDG will claim that one. Get up to soul points.
Angel. Bit of an interesting position. Is it a 1v4?
Has a GA from the Atakan.
Yeah, has the
Battle Victor.
Can start to Battle Victor. Haichao steals the ult. In comes Zucker with the TP. Angel survives, gets a heal to get some move speed. Gets to pick up the honey fruit as well. He's back to being okay.
Battle Victor, baby. Angel walks forwards, struts forwards with that Kane. And,
Kane?
Wow. Yeah, he's looking mighty fine though. Look, there are things I want to talk about Arcane, and it has been long enough that it's spoiler-free, but you haven't watched it, so I actually can't mention it.
Yeah, I need to watch this.
I don't know, maybe I'll just start spoiling a few at this point, because, like, you should know better.
This is just you being...
What did you make of when, you know, he actually just one-shot Lee Sin at in the post-credits scene?
Yeah, I really like that. I personally thought it was...
I never saw it coming, and neither did Lee Sin.
I was actually going to say it was that one song from Devil May Cry, I Am the Storm That Is Approaching.
Yeah.
There was a big chaos storm.
Funny enough, there is now actually a Netflix Devil May Cry animated show.
Mixed things.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things too, where
Some people like it, there are issues with it.
apparently has a very good soundtrack. They got a lot of like the old like early 2000s, 90s kind of rock music. So you had like the new metal stuff of Limp Bizkit, Evanescence, and Linkin Park, which is all very cool. In fact, Evanescence made a new song for it, which is
That's fun. It's one of the best bands I've seen live.
Yeah, I've seen them 3 times. And they were very good. I've seen them 3 times.
When did you see them?
I don't know. One time apart from the other two. Great ult on the end of the landing point there. Double teleports from EDG. They really want to send this.
Play keeps happening. There's the steadfast presence. Zucker not able to dash away with the footwork. Now in a slight man danger. The stolen Chaos Storm doing some work. Sorry, it's the Arcane Storm now. I have to get my names right. Even Silas doesn't get to rename
Chaos
it
Storm.
Just decided by Nymaera
Okay.
in the fly. Gonna step on forward CDC, look for the heroic charge to find damage value. LP will Arcane shift away, as we have also all now learned. Won't be blocked by the steadfast presence. And guess
Sam, I think actually most of us didn't
okay.
learn it there, Sam.
Yeah, I know.
We just know how the bloody game
yeah,
works.
Look, it's a movement ability. When Poppy will be able to stop that. Not thinking about it being a blink. Okay.
It's not that hard.
I made assumptions that they made an ass out of me and maybe you too because you were next to me.
Why would I ever assume that? That's wrong. I know how the game works. Zucker can push out topside. Angel does have Leandries. It's pretty powerful. 5-stack Dar still helps him with a bit of damage as well. Angel has been just completely taking over whatever area of the map you want to walk into.
Up 20 odd CS as well. Building towards second per night. That's how logic works. It is in my brain, and that's probably the most important decision.
I can't believe you. Like, sometimes Sam will ask a question about League and I'm like, Sam, how does the ability work? Like this. So doesn't that contradict directly what you said? Yes. And then we just, you know, I leave it there. You know, sometimes you have to let people find their own way to their own reality,
Right.
you know?
It's fine. It's a normal way of being,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
The thing is, there are enough edge case scenarios in League where you have to sometimes ask some questions, but like, a blink isn't a dash, Sam. I don't know what to tell you.
It's true. It's true.
Hydra has a Rift Maker. Of course, Silas W got a big change sometime through last year where it gets extra damage.
Now?
Do you want me to talk about the champion or not, Sam?
Yeah, go on.
Cool. So last year, I'm going to rip your spine out of your back, Sam. I'm going to go full Predator mode.
I say it's very Halo Reach of you.
Wait, is it?
It's when you do that really... There used to be that crazy assassination when you do the giant jump.
Yeah, true. That was great. Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, the break the whole thing.
So Silas W.
Got a big change last year where the damage also was calculated partly due to your bonus HP as well. So that's why Protobelt kind of made a comeback. Cosmic Drive gave some HP back in as well. Big thing now is that you have Rod of Ages and Rift Maker. Rift Maker also takes your HP, bonus HP, and turns it back into AP on a certain percentage. So I think it's 2% of your bonus HP. Oh, nice. So with this item build, I mean, the Silas is pretty good. The problem is, we're 1,000 gold behind a guy who's also building a ton of HP and gets to play keep away from you. He gets to grab field down, and Silas just doesn't win that fight.
Has 5 stacks of the Dark Seal to boot, so he's even got even more HP. That's a teleport of all time.
Doesn't have flash.
Grand Starfall comes on in. On actually pretty low here. Cask actually puts Zucker in a good position to potentially go all out. Wink now flashing over, and they do end up getting punished. The split happens for once. Turnaround beginning to come on through for EDG, but they've lost their AD carry. 14 seconds into Drake, that would have been sold for them, and Arn's just dead.
EDG with another misstep in the late game. That's very, very important. The team not paying attention to that Pantheon. We called this out earlier. Take the mid lane out of turret. You can do these long dive plays. Angel doesn't have a Void Staff, has used his Chaos Storm already, so I think that's actually a mistake there too. Not really having the damage to work with that. Has the Rift Maker, but needs the extra shred now because he's not going to get through the tank of Zerka. Dragon's going to go after LNG, and EDG, they slip a little bit. I think sometimes they're going for another late game, man. Come on, EDG, you are in such a commanding position again.
Composition we like this one. They're over towards the other side of the map saying, cool, well, we lost that kill. They burned the teleports. They've burned some ults. Can we look to maybe threaten around the barrel, or at least clear out some vision? just be the vision game for now, but that is the Dragon take. Let's have a look at this again, because basically, they teleport onto it, and Arn's like, okay, I'm in danger. They will barrel roll in, and Arn will look to chase the corruption, and it's not enough.
That
the cast puts Zucker to the other side of it all.
The first bit of that's okay, but then you realize actually there's so much random extra follow-up, and the slow from the Pantheon ult does a lot of work, and the cask wasn't enough, you're absolutely right. Arn maybe should have sidestepped and tried to get out of the range of the natural Pantheon ult slow, give Wink a bit of an easier time disengaging. For Arn, he could walk away a little easier at that point. So now we've got a couple of minutes until Dragon. Baron's up and available. No one's really playing through side lanes. Are we just waiting for the next big objective? I don't know if EDG feel like they can confidently force the play, can they?
3 items on this Viego, and this build does sort of really come online at this point as well with that additional bit of crit. This Viego can be very aggressive in looking for the kills.
Sucker just doesn't take damage from the Varus uses up the on-hit, of course. Did stun that. Arn, if he actually gets to stand and fight, does a lot of damage. Just needs to, you know, not get blasted first.
It's got from wide as Zucker gets sped up by Karma with the Inspire. Okay. Easy, potentially a bit of danger. High Chow getting run up, but that's actually a lot of damage from Angel, my days.
He has a really good slow burn build, right? Gets the left Riftmaker and Leandri's up for that. CDZ, he's going to pop the ult wing, forcing Arcane Shift out of LP. Teleport in from Victor. No Chaos Storm.
Now in a potentially awkward position. The Pathmaker doesn't get a shuttle to Angel, gets a lot of speed from the Siphon. Power cast flashes from LP. Gets to stay out alive, but is forced to burn the flash.
The engage from EDG hard to land. They don't have a great hard engaged champion. The Gragas needs to hit the Krask in the right way. Zucker dashes forward. So they feel like they can take this. They do. Zucker's going to 1v4.
There's the Grand Star 4, but that's now 50-50 in the backline, shunted into a wall. Arn, very low, gets a barrier shield, stays alive, but they still lose Poppy. LNG in the late game are beginning to turn online. Angel's in danger. Ult away from Shao keeps him alive, and the Q lands. LP, a sniper on the Ezreal.
I cannot believe EDG baited us into believing that they could win through the late game again. Both in Game 2 and Game 3, they have made horrid mistakes multiple times, which have allowed LNG to pull the trigger, and EDG's carries pay the price. That'll be Baron. That'll be LNG clawing it back again. It's a tense game. It's an important series for both teams. The loser of this gets that sweat on the bead on their neck. Bottom 2 teams in Group Nirvana, as we've said multiple times throughout today, do not play Split 3 for 2025. You do not want to be bottom 2 in Nirvana. Series like this and only a best of 3 single round robin can really come back to bite you later. And EDG, these late game mistakes will certainly come back to bite them. I don't know what the hell's happened with their positioning. Arn walks up into the Cassandra, goes melee range. Yes, the Varus is good at tank killing, but not when you have to go melee range. And LP, credit to him, has had a really solid late game. Gets some great skill shot accuracy. Forces Varus out of the fight. Basically goes into a 1v1 with the Victor, but has Conqueror stacked up. Goes over the gravity field and just hits a massive snipe on that Q at the end.
He's had a significant individual lead since the mid game. He was 1,000 gold ahead individually. He's now 2.5k ahead individually. This Ezreal, if he's playing safe, if he's the threat, EDG can't threaten him as easily as they can that top side of the map.
And I think one of the reasons they can't threaten in some ways is that I think this Victor build has not been useful. I get why it's harder to kill you if it doesn't work out there. You get the Omnivamp from Riftmaker, which makes you hard to kill, and you get the HP. Where's your Void Staff at this time, Staff? Where's your extra burn damage from going for something like a Blackfire instead, or the extra damage? This Victor needs to be carrying, and he's just simply not.
The Baron take, now the tier 2's under threat. EDG's ability to defend looking a lot more limited all of a sudden. 50-50, sure, off to one side with LP. Throwing out some Essence Fluxes, which of course do work on towers, so Ezreal eventually hits the point where he does take towers a lot faster than he does in the early to mid stages, and that 3.5 items will certainly hit if he gets the opportunity. He built that item, one still stands. Xiao Hao hanging around behind here as well, looking to see whether someone overplays. There's a lot of wards, kind of looking at those flank angles from LNG through the red side jungle of EDG, and back towards the tier 2 we go, and I think it will die on this wave or the next.
LNG using High Chow to push in a wave, hang around in the fog of war, threaten something. Has a Zhonya's now, so he can jump in, be a bit more aggressive, stack up the Riftmaker, and then come out of it even more. Omnivamp alongside his W after that.
There's a few questions what EDG stands for, and there's some pretty nasty ones in there. Endlessly disappointing gameplay is
that has been the case since since 2024. Has felt like that one. Remember, this is a team that won Worlds. This is one of the most legendary teams in LPL. To fall this far is... What do you say to it? What do you say to it?
LNG apparently the last 2 games have been lose no games because despite the games looking pretty awful, found their way back in.
That's demonstrably untrue.
True fight said for the last 2, not the first game.
No, well the last 2, well that's the thing. That hasn't even completed that second game. That's the last 2 would be the 2 before this, which is game 1, which they
This
lost.
counts as 1 with 34 minutes in.
Has the Nexus
Are
forward.
you rounding up this is a game?
Depends to what's it. Well, I guess to a significant figure it is only 1, isn't it? But,
Yeah.
But then actually the thing is, you don't round up on something that's not completed. Sam. God damn it. Industry standards got to be upheld. It's like people who say 8.3 point. What's the volt, the gigawatts from Back to the Future? 8.31 gigawatt. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but you don't say 31 or whatever. You say it's 3.1 if it's decimals. You know, say that's it's not right. So,
Do you think Doc Brown or whatever his name is scientifically rigorous?
Hey, time travel, I might argue.
I mean, that doesn't make him rigorous. That just makes him successful.
If you diss him too hard, he will just turn up at, sometime in your life and slap you silly. 1.21 is that 1.21 gigawatts?
Something like that. It's a lot of energy.
But it would be
really.
1.21. If it's 1.21, that's like a patch note. In the same way that we're on 25.7 or be 25.10 or whatever. Anyway, I'm trying to avoid this game because think about this game makes me
cry.
sad.
Yeah.
Makes me sad. Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Late game LNG, EDG once again.
Yeah, and shout out trying to combo onto Angel, but the Victor doesn't do damage. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like Angel with so much gold, so much time in side lane should have been taking over this game. Hasn't really. Would have thought those Chaos Storms would be game ending. Hasn't been the case.
Not yet. Got a blighting jewel at least, but not the void staff, and really needs that item.
And that would be good damage potentially onto Gragas. That doesn't want to go forwards, of course. I say that doesn't want to go too far forwards because he can get bopped back. Has the flash. I think if he trades flash for flash with Gragas and he makes it out safely, he actually feels good about that. Because the Gragas will die before he makes it back to the rest of his team. Gragas gone for the redemption locket, so has some utility for his team. God, 3 dragons for LNG now. Are we really not even ending around that dragon? It's gonna be a long day, folks.
Baron's up in a minute. And that will be our next big objective spawning. Whether teams want to play around it, I just don't know at this point. We've got a Viego at 5-0. Building towards some penetration with the last Whisper as well, looking to make sure they have some threat onto the front line.
Yeah, that was invented 700 years before the wheel.
Yeah.
So technologically, it's starting to make its way forwards in history. EDG walking up as a group now. But I just don't see what they're achieving much on the map. I guess they're getting close towards that Void Staff and Victor. Maybe that's a breakpoint they need to play towards, but I don't see where EDG's damage is coming from in the current items.
Is a very good question. Not, I fear, with Varus unless they get off time. It's been problematic. At least at 3 items, a bit more survivability onto this blue buff. Shahar backs away. The problem is now this map control that EDG once had, a lot harder to come by. Hi, Chow.
Pantheon.
Long going to try and turn this one around. There's a gravity field coming down with the stolen Chaos Storm. Does a fair amount of damage. Aegisalt comes on down. Redemption now as Angel steps forward himself. Begins to glide with the Arcane Storm coming on at 50-50 down to half HP. Zucker now in a 1v5. Interrupted, shoved into the wall. Maybe forced to flash. Not quite yet. Still very damn tanky.
He doesn't take damage.
We're going to cast him back. Will finally be forced to flash and does go down. Oh my god, that Viego ult absolutely deleted him. The execute comes on in. Stolen body of Cassante allows 2 to die. Baron is up and finally Xiaohao gets a big aggressive ult.
EDG and LNG, hang on, we've got to teleport into the base. Baron's being sorted, but I think EDG have to peel off of it now, maybe. Another wave, no. LNG teleported in, but to what avail? They don't even take themselves the inhibitor turret. Haichao feeling a little bit silly there, having to waste that summoner. After such a poor play in the side lane, we were just, singing, decrying misery or whatever for EDG and how they played out the game, but they take a great fight in the top side because LNG are the ones that overforce this time. So this is after they've already jumped onto the Victor, they've traded ult for ult, and then Zucker just ends up, I was like, oh, he's not taking damage, but he's also not doing anything useful on the other side of it too. Yeah, he survives for a long time, but your teammates aren't there. Ezreal's not doing damage, Decisive isn't doing damage. And then the ult comes through from the Viego, and we did talk about that scaling off of crit. Well, this is a late game Viego, and I completely shreds it.
He's got a full Lord Donald. He's got a 75% crit, building another crit cloak in inventory as well. This Viego is hitting 100% crit shortly, which is pretty damn scary, all things said and done. 7-0. There you go. One goes towards Bruiserboys. Tank builds, ways to survive until you can steal a body. Not this one. This one's all about the poppers. Dragon spawning.
Yeah, dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Viego has flash and so much damage. I think Xiaohao can actually flash one-shot someone, so watch out for that. LNG, need to be very careful. Do you have the Pantheon ult available to open up another angle in the fight? But Wink with flash can close that off with a flash body slam.
Dragon started. Zucker on a flank doesn't have the flash. Haichao looking for an angle himself. This Silas at level 18 could be pretty threatening in and of his own right. Throw down a chain lash onto Xiaohao. Dragon still just being toyed with. No one really doing significant damage to it yet.
Will be silent and Mountain Soul for either team. Big victory for the team to get this. Now I guess we're going for the 50-50. See if the guy with the name can do get himself a smite from that Poppy ult.
This is... Oh, Dragon secured though by Xiaohao. Regarda, Soul secured. Zucker dead again to the Viego, and LNG cannot find the Dragon they so desperately needed. Barrel roll onto Joe will slow him down. The Karma late game just disappears.
Pantheon ults to clear a wave. Haichao gets another one. LNG, as soon as they lose that Dragon, realize, okay, we have to get the hell out of here. Zucker dies for free. 50-50. Will probably end up dying for his Sin Sip. Flashed and ulted to get away from that play. He's going to clear another wave. Haichao's going towards top lane now. LNG are on full wave defense mode. Get those monkeys and towers. Balloons are heading towards your base. EDG take the Dragon. They'll take themselves a huge amount of kills with it too. But they have no waves.
Haichao and 50-50 do the Lord's work in terms of managing those waves. Get every single wave shoved before resets can come on through. The thing is, Soul's still secured. They've still got a little bit of Baron, not all that much avail here. The game continues, but I think now it is looking very dire once again for LNG.
Well, Mountain Soul makes it hard, doesn't it? 3 Mountain Dragons, the Poppy with the shield there. This Poppy is not going to die. I don't think they're going to die. There's no Void Staff on Haichao. He's gone for the Death Cap. He's going to find similar issues to what Angel had before, who now has himself a Zhonya's. Didn't even finish up the full Death Cap.
Void Staff done for Virus as well. Oh my days, there's just so much tankiness at this point. LNG, a moment in the sun might well have ended. Thought they might be back in it. Inhibitor's down, even with all the waves cleared. They can't stop the shove, even without the Baron.
It's been a slow set of games today. Both teams tentative, inaccurate. You can feel the tension. It is very important to get a win here. LNG had so many good options in this game. But EDG looked like they've clawed things through the Dragons. Xiaohao's Viego.
Maker comes on down. Hail of arrows into the cask, and that means that Zucker's in... Sorry, 50-50, I apologize, in danger, but does get a good Aegis assault. Bit of a shield, keeps him alive, though, so they can't quite secure everything they're looking for.
The waves on the other parts of the map, well, there's super minions going into mid lane, which LNG will have to answer at some point. And the problem with this Mountain Soul is, one, makes you sure your turret does less damage, and you have the shield to tank an extra tower shot, or 2 if you want to walk up for a skill shot of your own or an extra auto attack on tower. 3 grubs, of course, not going to be most tower destroying potential, but it'll definitely help to a degree. Xiaohao around the fringes, has himself flash, does a lot of damage for 50. Has that sweeper, spot out people in rotation, but can't really do much right now.
Chain Interruption did land, but there's a Locket Shield, so Arn doesn't actually take all that much damage in the grand scheme of things. Zucker gets a 3-man and Topo strike, but to what end? LP under the Arcade Storm is just melting! And that means that Angel now really will do a lot of damage. Gets to go golden, keeps the Storm running. Haichao also goes golden. Angel looking for a Siphon Power Shield. Gets another kill with the Hex Tech Raid. That will be it. Edward Gaming claw their way to victory against LNG. It is anything but clean. But victory is victory. Edward Gaming, 1-0.
They'll win their first series of the Nirvana group as LNG in the champions, thriving. Does well into all 3 of those. We did talk about that Jhin for Weibo. Locks that in. Easy lock in there.
There we go. Timer stop. 5 minutes, 12 seconds.
All right, fair play.
What do you think about the comps before I have to leave you?
I think that top was classic dive composition with a bit of anti-dive with the Gwen and the Poppy. Weibo on the other side. Lots of damage, lots of skirmish. Potentially early game power to play around themselves.
There we go, I get that. All right, I shall love you and leave you. Go to learn German. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Bruder.
Dankeschön. Good luck with that, as I'll might have to tune in on the other side. I'll have a second headset, hopefully. fighting off. Once again. Nice, nice crowd. What are they screaming? This is a bit of fan culture out from the LPL at the start of the play. You'll hear one person in the crowd say, your team's name, WBG, or Top Esports, or JDG. And the rest of the crowd who supports that team will respond with Jio, which means fighting. They'll do that 3 times and hand it over to the other team. Have a bit of competition in their lung capacity. Both these teams feeling quite emboldened by my support today. Xiaohu on Rise. Yeah, special to see this, isn't it? More energetic than the previous series. Well, it's easier to support winning teams, isn't it? Bone plating by Rise early on. Interesting. Cream going for the Inspiration secondary too. Interesting. 369. E-start into the Gnar. Doing a great job of trading at the level 1. Eventually, the Gnar can really struggle versus the Gwen. Tian spotted going across the river. Raptors into the other side. Kanavi doing a full clear. Ghost popped early by 369. Is he going to get the level 2 level up? No, not quite. Oh, that's close as hell. I think 369 just dies here. Breathe, flashes forwards, and 369 dies for first blood. Breathe on his Gnar. Locked it into it easily. Get some extra gold in pocket. 369, buddy. You got to do better than that on your first pick, Gwen. Joe means to add oil, literally. Really? Huh. I didn't even realize that. That's very cool. Breathe so good on that now. Kanavi, well, he couldn't get up there in time. There's nothing he could do there. He does his full bot side. Gonna have to go over to the other side of the jungle now. Will be spotted going over. Of course, Kanavi and Tien battled off for so many years. Tien against his old organization, and Top Esports was there for so many years after his time on Fun Plus Phoenix. Blue buff being started. Tien. Raptors into blue. Gromp on the other side. I'm walking over. Buff gone. Tien not going to be there quite soon enough. So Tien not quite getting the timing right there. Kanavi responding well. Well, I don't know what the heck 369 thought he was doing here. This wasn't even close, was it? This wasn't even close. So far away. Breathe. I mean, did he have a cookie early or something? Don't know. Easy going onto him. Xiaohu trading well onto Cream in the mid lane. Part of that is due to the runes, by the way. The bone plating versus the inspiration of Cream secondary. Definitely helping out the Rise more than does the Ari for the early trades. Means that you lose out in the prior there. Secondary runes are very important for how you play out early lane. Tien pulling out the Vi a little bit. Ward cleared though. Vi is not good at fighting very early on. Level 3 is when you can start to fight. However, you know, the Neferi can W you on your Q through. If you miss your Q as Vi, yeah, don't really do much damage, do you? Xiaohu walking up has the rune prison, and those runes, which took so much damage off earlier, help Xiaohu set up for a kill for Tien onto Cream. Xiaohu's Rise, making an impact on Cream's Ari. Not a champion I particularly liked in the past, even though it's been played a lot of. He's played a lot of it. Goes down for that second blood of the game. I think Jio was using auto racing in Hong Kong and became a general thing for cheering. That's very cool. Didn't even know the history of Jio. Well, now you know. Now you know. Harvey taking the Gromp. On Gromp, as orcs would say. Can we refund points? No, I don't think you can. If you put your points on a team, you gotta live with that. Great start from Weibo. Great start from Tien. Great start from Breathe. If that Gwen stops, doesn't actually get to do the damage it needs to, that could be a big issue for Top Esports. Tien goes in for second steal of Gromp. Means that Gnar can play completely aggressively on the top side, going towards that cull. Chill chat. Liquid was down 0-6 in kills yesterday and still managed to come back in the game. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Worth noting, of course, Weibo, one of our strangest teams here in the LPL. Weibo consistently inconsistent was our moniker for them. I think we've kind of retired that label for a bit, but still. Worth noting that they can turn up on any given day and just do some real damage. I think they're more consistent than they were, though. Cream, please don't leave with Ari and send Alex to the hospital. Well, I've seen enough of Cream Ari. Look, the thing is, I've seen so many pro Aris do bad things on this. Jackalove using his own skin as well on the IG Kai'Sa, no surprise there. But I've seen a lot of bad Ari players in pro over the while. So it's, you know, there are players which are fine, there are players which are, you know, okay. There are some which I expect more from, and there are some occasional few which really make me learn about the champion and appreciate what they do. And a pick we've seen a lot of since 2022. Knives starting up on the grubs. No one going towards the dragon just yet. Light going towards top side. Good early gold lead though from Jackalove. How the hell did he get such a gold lead? 13 CS? Huh, did not expect that gold lead to come through from Kai'Sa versus Jhin. Expect more from Light and Hung as a bot lane duo. I guess Jackalove and Crisp, very strong in the 2v2, but Light, very proficient at that. Oh, Kanavi going forwards. Doesn't have the level 6. Tien doesn't use that doubly. Great flash pull from Hung. Kanavi funds to put into the back line. Charm comes through, but is it going to be enough? Damage starts to come through from both sides. Jackalove has the full lethal tempo, and I don't know whether the cooldowns are there for Weibo. Cream dashes back. 1-for-1. All things said and done. Jungler from mid lane. Charm lands onto the Alistair, and a wall stun comes after Jhin misses the W, and Chris will make it out fine. Jackalove still has the lethal tempo, and make that a 2-for-1 for top esports. Ah, Weibo. There is something to be said about Weibo. One thing which has consistently been a problem for them is having a great first set of pathing from jungler and laning reaction to it. Then even if they have a good early game, they somehow throw one random fight at the end of the early game. This is not a bad combo. I mean, the W from Poppy doesn't even work that well, but Xiaohu positions way too close to the wall, comes in at a bad angle to get damage down. Basically, you're then, you know, you're playing with a lot of your damage gone. Big mistake from Xiaohu. Weibo, this is not something we've seen them shake off just yet. .369. Down a significant amount of CS versus Breathe. Timing that Q well, so the W wears off. Cream going towards the Rod of Ages. Sadly didn't have a Dark Seal to pick up some stacks from that early fight. If you get early Dark Seal stacks on Ari, you change very much as the champion. Hope Cadrill's not watching, or he might get a heart attack today. Well, he tends to watch the IG games. Is he watching the other ones? Jackalove 2 kills. Oh man, that's worth talking about too. I don't know why I didn't talk about that. Jackalove 2 kills on the Kai'Sa. You won Worlds with Yuntal first item. That feels so good. Your first item, your Q evolve is going to be very quick. Has the lethal tempo as opposed to Leave going towards the Halo Blades just the other day. God, this is going to be a powerful Kai'Sa. The Q evolve is going to be very quick, and he'll be one-shotting people. The Alistair, notwithstanding, I think everyone else is a target. Ooh, 3's not popping everything right here. Gets 2 parts of the needle work. Flash Veil from Breathe. Doesn't get the kill, but gets most of the HP. Meganar's going to come up. Don't think there's anyone really coming over to his side of the map, though, so Breathe's still going to be able to get a fine trade up here. Get all of that farm down. Gets towards his Meganar. Clear this out. 369 really achieving that much for that needle work. Top esports will get themselves the first dragon of the game. Grubs down Dragon Flame for them. Hung, going back in towards lane through his bot side jungle. Xiaohu here. Being warded for, well, Hung shadowing him, warding off some enemies. Of course, Xiaohu's Rise Legendary, as we call that in Champion Select. Not the easiest game for a Rise to play. Can struggle against the Gwen, who runs at you with that W. Of course, Vi Ari, nasty for anyone to deal with, let's be honest. 6 grubs over to the other side. Kanavi. Oh no, not 6 grubs. Tien trying to steal 1 away, so it's not the 6 grubs rather. Roam up towards the top side. Kanavi. Well, is he going to contest the top? No, gives up all 3. Breathe has control on top side, has Mega. Has his ult, didn't use that in his last transformation. Jackalope, walk towards Breathe. He'll hop over the wall, he'll be fine. Crisp. Not there in time to get a wall stun, which would have been... Yeah, that would have been pretty threatening. Especially with Jackalope being so threatening on the Kai'Sa right now. Charm lands onto Light. Good trade. Rod of Ages built up for Cream. The Rod of Ages score's got a buff on this patch and everyone's building it now. Cheaper, better stats. Will say I'm not that impressed by the Rod of Ages builds. I kind of get going towards it. It feels like when you see an OP item, you kind of tunnel on it because it's like, oh, I've got to make this efficient or whatever, without realizing it changes your playstyle too much to the negative. And your power spikes in a bad way. Jackalope, very, very strong. Oh, we've got the Gumiyushi Korean Jin build coming through. It's going more towards the lethality this time. There's no real armor stacker on the side of top esports. Level 6 on the Vi, of course. Level 8. Definitely helps to start forcing away some plays. Charm, not going to land with Tien. He has the Eclipse already. God damn, that's powerful. Realm Warp coming through. Rise comes through. Is he going to flash for a Rune Prison? No. Flower of Flame by Cream there. Swing and a miss. Tien with the Eclipse. First ult of the game yet to be cast for that Hound's Pursuit. We're slightly ahead in terms of gold, despite those kills coming through to top esports around the grubs. Because Weber got more earlier. Cream, looking for that charm as Rise comes back to it. It's one of the most powerful points in the laning phase as Ahri is that if you get a push of the wave in, and the enemy laner has to come back through the side of the lane towards the tower, you can kind of back off from the tower, get a great trade as they're losing minions to the tower. Really nasty there. Cream used all of his other skills there. It does get the bone plating off of that charm hit. Rise, you know, Rise used to be one of my bogey champions when I play Ahri in solo queue. I don't know why. Rise is actually... Ahri's pretty good into Rise. I'm just not good into it, even if I am an Ahri player. I don't know why. Something about that blue dude just doesn't... I don't get it. I don't get it. Xiaohu and Rise was expected. Crazy expected Rise teleports. Why is Ahri building Roa these days? I'd like it, dislike it profusely. Because Roa got buffed and people think you should build it. And also Ahri is struggling to one-shot in the current meta. Especially when other people build Roa as well. I still think that Ahri benefits way more from acceleration builds like Malignance with Medjai's and Lichbane. At that point you get so much damage, ton of move speed, a lot of cooldown reduction. One of the worst things about this build for Ahri is that you lose 30 seconds cooldown on your ultimate at rank 1. Which is a long time to be abused in pro. Long time to be abused in pro. Matters less in this kind of game where you're not against another heavy ult champion. So if you're against Fizz Z, obviously it's very obvious. Their talent to you where you're trading ult for ult a lot with them. Silas as well. But when you're with the Vi, a lot of the time you do really want to make use of your first ults of the game. Haven't really seen that too much in the current meta. Needlework come through. Xiaohu dipped into the Hallowed Mist to make sure that could come through. And one last Needlework comes through, and in the duration of that CC, Xiaohu is Needlework down another time. Tries to turn around with some extra healing and shielding. It does not work. And now the teleport in from Gnar. Not the best. Has to flash out immediately. Breathe. Not able to save his mid laner. Xiaohu misjudges his own tankiness there, I think. And top esports through Kanavi get themselves a great kill onto that Gwen, who didn't have the best laning phase, but is gifted a kill to make up for a bit of that. Top esports so regionally dominant. Like for all the complaints about top esports internationally, doesn't happen regionally. You know, you have to shut down their bot lane. I feel like if you're playing against them regionally, doesn't really happen, has it? In the LPL, Breathe goes in, and though he couldn't save his mid laner, can get a play towards the spot side. Use the Demolish Mega Null deck. Crisp on top side. Xiaohu no longer has flash. Xiaohu far enough away from the wall this time, but doesn't have a flash and no longer has HP. This Rise has been focused on hard. Weber will trade on the other side of the map. This is not an uncommon thing for Weibo, leaving Xiaohu on the weak side and then playing towards the other side of the map. They do get a tower at least and keep the gold even-ish. I don't like that the Rise has been shut down so much, though. I don't like that Weibo have not supported him effectively. You know, the teleport was late on the other side of the map last time. Focused on very, very hard. Is Breathe actually going to make the difference if you give him gold? With gold going onto Gwen? Maybe not. Xiaohu gets Vide. No one on his side of the map. Goes down very, very quickly, and losing the Gnar flash, bit awkward after that point. Herald taken by Vi, but they can't pick up the Eye. Exactly, you see how the setup worked there, but Herald taken, but not... So Herald finished, but not claimed. So the Eye not going to come through. Now going a little bit too far forward. There is an Alistar ult. Gen fires one of those daggers through. Forced the flash out of Alistar. Didn't want to sit there and use the ult. Breathe. Very strong. Level 11. And Breathe and have that second tier ult. Of course, all the solo laners are out there now. You can see this on the level 12 too. Weibo really putting so much gold into this Gnar. I think they just say, look, Breathe. He's won so many games split pushing on Gnar. This will be our win condition for this game. First items hit across the board. Weibo really putting their foot down and saying, look, we are putting so much into this Gnar. Gnar will be our win condition. Ryze still ahead of gold in terms of to compare to Cream. Interesting. I suppose Weibo playing so heavily towards the side lanes have farmed a little bit better up there. 1.5k lead to the Kai'Sa though. Breathe versus Jaculov, I guess, is not a bad way to phrase how this game's going right now. Breathe looking to play through side lanes. Jaculov wanting to play more towards later game team fights. Grouped up plays. Combo off of the Vi. Dive in alongside the rest of his team. No one's claimed... Well, sorry, I was about to say no one's claimed the feats of strength yet. Actually, Top Esports did that with the first tower and the first kills of the game. No, the first kills of the game went after Weibo. It was the first objective. So they had the dragon, the grubs, and then they killed the Herald. Even though they didn't pick it up, they do get that towards the feats of strength. So they do get that increased boots. Double daggers onto the Crux. Tien gets the farm so effectively after this point. Kanavi farms well on the Vi, but Neferi is very good clear speed. iPinkFlower is asking, should I cook lasagna or burgers? Lasagna lasts longer, and you get more of it. I think lasagna is better if you're batch cooking. Lasagna will last you a long time if you're doing like a full baking tray of it. So Weibo didn't actually manage to get any important objectives. No, well, they got one dragon. They did get 3 grubs, so I don't think that's true. Many people build crit Kai'Sa these days. Yeah, they do. They do. The Q upgrade's nasty. This is a solo Q build. You go towards Yuntal and you go towards the Infinity Edge. Yuntal does give you that burst of attack speed when you first hit a target. You're going towards the lethal tempo. Your first dive onto a target is insanely strong. Your continued damage, a little worse because you don't have something like a Rage Blade. You don't get the W upgrade as much. Could go towards a Shadow Flame later, I suppose. That would be what gets you that. Breathe uses another Demolition style. Weibo doing well to control different lanes, supporting each other better this time. You know, Ryze not dying for an attempt this time. Weibo playing PvE? A little bit, but that's how you can win League of Legends. Playing through multiple lanes. There's a game which I point out. Do you remember, folks, the World's 2023 game in the Swiss stage, first round? Best of 1 between T1 and Team Liquid, where a lot of people are saying, oh my god, Team Liquid playing so well, picking off so many kills on T1. But actually, what T1 were doing was farming 3 ways, while Team Liquid were farming 1 or 2. You get an extra wave of farm, and eventually, you come around to a 5v5, and despite the kill score looking really good for one team, the other side's picked up more experience and more gold from more parts of the map. Now, it's not like that completely here, right? It's even in gold. But that's the theory, right? You farm more waves, you get more experience. Even though you don't get the dopamine of the kills, you do get the substance of the minions. Dragon alive. Will be second for either team. On a mountain rift. Teleport from Ryze. Has the Seraph's Rod of Ages, not quite there. Can he get that before the next play comes through? Currently, a lot of XP down on Cream because he doesn't have that Rod of Ages completed, while Cream does. 369. There's Rune Prison onto him. Needlework comes through. Xiao needs to be a little bit careful because Na'Vi could be ulting onto the backline. Cream spotted on his own flank as well. Multiple angles come through. That's a pick onto Jacula, but it's not that clean. He ults back, and the W from Poppy saves him from the Fury. Ult comes through from the Jhin, but I don't know whether that's going to lead to that much. Breed goes forwards, but can't get the ult. The Realm Walk keeps going forwards now, but I think that's just going to get him dead. Xiaohu ults into his own demise. Cream has a reset, gets one last play forwards. The top esports might have lost the dragon, but they do get the kills. Messy fight from Weibo. Not really sure what they wanted to achieve there. 3 for none for top esports in the fight. They'll walk forwards, potentially claim themselves a tower, at least get a chunk onto it. They don't have the Herald to force onto that now, but Weibo couldn't close down any one target. Hung's Alistar engage onto Jaculov. Couldn't connect into the Jhin W. Headbutted in the wrong direction. Or Light was not coordinated enough with where the direction was going to be from it. Top esports don't get mid lane turret, but they're going to go towards the Atakan on the top side. Tian is here. Hung no ultimate. I think this is just going to go before there's a steal coming through, isn't it? Tian trying to get through. Flashes for a smite, but can't get the secure. Now suddenly a GA is there, and top esports want to get themselves a fight. Tian will go down. Jacula will flash forward and get himself another one on the board, and will start to keep flying. Na'Vi, does he have an ultimate? No, of course he doesn't. He used that on Tian just beforehand. Weibo, everything falls apart around the dragon. Everything falls apart. Messy fight around that objective. Messy fight. And everything falls apart now. Jacula, so fed. Has the Infinity Edge. Has that Yuntal for the 50% crit now the Yuntal is stacked up. 369 at the start of this. Does well to just stand and fight. Knows that Kanavi's coming around the corner. Cream on one angle. 369 and Kanavi on the other. Poppy ult doesn't even hit, but Hung just goes way too far forward. Jacula cleanses. Flies back behind the steadfast presence. Really wonderfully played by Jacula, but also the team of Weibo, you have to shut down the Kai'Sa cleanly. You don't manage that, you fall apart in the team fight. I have no idea what that Realm Warp was looking to achieve. Very bad Realm Warp. And you know, Rise for Xiaohu has been a legendary pick, but that's not it. 0-4 on the Rise. Awful, awful game from him so far. Cream goes out some dogs. 7 Dark Seal stacks, by the way. Let's get a Medjai's. Let's get some light reading in there, Cream. Has the GA. The thing worth that's noting, by the way, if you get the Atakan, you don't lose your stacks. Cream feels emboldened there because the Poppy W is great there. And suddenly Jhin is forced out of the fight. He has an ultimate, so he can engage from range. We might try and get some of those withdrawals. Crisp is going to get jumped onto. Third shot misses. Fourth shot does too. Crisp, he's safe with his withdrawal for now. No extra damage coming through. Tian not getting a reset on his ultimate, of course, or anything like that, because it doesn't count as a kill with the withdrawal either. So he can't get that reset to jump forward onto Cream. Gwen is split pushing in the side lane while all this is happening. Is there going to be a teleport behind? Yes, there is. 369 spotted on this one. So he takes an inner turret. Flash forward coming through. Cream gets a charm onto the Jhin, and Light is snuffed out. 369 chases down Breathe. And remind, they still have themselves their withdrawals, so they completely have to go forwards, and Cream gets a triple kill on the Ahri. Weibo have been snowballed on. 7,000 gold lead. Mid lane turret soon to fall. Weibo, ever since that dragon fight, have been floundering across the map. Top esports easily picking up the pieces. 10 stacks on that Dark Seal. God, imagine a Cream out of Medjai's, man. He's so fed right now. 505 on the Kai'Sa. Jacula, incredibly fed too. Great game from him. So what the hell happens here? Well, Na'Vi misses his Q, but you can play brazenly like this. Vi dies, but still gets the ultimate through as they're withdrawing. That's one of the things which also works with Vi. If you die midway through your ult, and you have the withdrawal, still completes. Not sure Xiaohu was expecting that one. Not nearly tank enough to survive, even with the Seraphs and the Rod of Ages. Medjai's was picked up for Cream. Sadly, overcapped on his stacks around that Dark Seal. It was on 7 with a triple kill. It would have been an extra, 12 stacks for him, bringing up to 19 total. Stuck on 10 instead, so he's missing half the stacks that he could have had. Would have been almost, 50 AP extra difference there. That's why you should get it early before the fights come through. They don't have that withdrawal now. He's going in for extra damage, and now he's stuck into the plate. They thought they had an opening. Instead, they have just sent Hung to the abattoir. Goes down. Rise stuck in the play too. Xiaohu's Rise has not lived up Just lofty pedigree. Cream doing some damage over the wall. He got the kills there as well. 14 stacks in the Magi's wave. I don't know. They've lost their heads. They've lost their minds. Cream winning that 1v1 for them, giving this side select definitely helped them, don't get me wrong, but Weibo, it's mainly been in gameplay, really. Not going to blame it on the draft. I think the draft is playable. Absolutely is playable. Seek is now picked up for Cream, so he can play even more ballsy. Dash in, lots of HP from Roa and from the Leandries. Can use that Seekers to go untargetable. Going to Stasis. Objective bounty claimed by Weibo. Is there anything coming through? Ooh, flash forward. He does have the Seekers, remember. Can he get it down in time? Yes, he can. Has no flash. Is it going to be enough? Goes forwards and the Poppy W is there to save. Cream gets a kill, protects his Magi stacks, and starts to reset. Xiaohu jumped on by Kanavi. And Kanavi goes down. At least that's one back. Xiaohu has a flash, potentially looking for anything more. Forward shot comes through, but it's so tanky. The Magi stacks are done. Can they get the cancel onto the realm up? No, they can't, but Weibo might still die for their takedown of the Ahri. Oh, Weibo, what has happened this game? Jacula, great damage coming through from him. His top Esports, they've just been quicker to the play. Weibo, they have not found their team fight. Top Easels much cleaner in the 5v5s. I think Chris Poppy has been utterly superb. The steadfast presences have made all the difference. In every fight, there has been a critical piece of engage stopped from Weibo. Towers falling left, right, and center. 11,000 gold lead, soon to be 12,000 with the extra inner turret falling. Well, there is a reason why Jackalov has the Kai'Sa skin. Flash ult. W from the Jhin. This is the bonus of having the Royal Leandries. You are very hard to kill. Dashes out, the Poppy W, as we said, doing great work here. Ahri's passive gives you the empowered heal when you get kill participation. Yeah, Kanavi goes too far forwards. Cream then goes too far from his team as well. Great charm there. Double Q onto both Xiaohu and Light. They have to commit so much to kill the Ahri, though. And also, reminder, gets 2 assists afterwards. So even though you think, oh, the Magi stacks, you still get an extra 4 stacks back because there are 2 assists on top of it. So instead of losing 10, you lose 6 instead. 18 stacks on the Magi still. This Ahri does so much work. So much work. Of course, the main character of this game is still the Kai'Sa. 708 has a GA. Jackalov is the main character here. I just like talking Ahri because it's my main champion, believe it or not. Have I said that enough? Should I say that more? I should say that more. Pushing in. 12,000 gold lead for top esports. 4,000 on the Baron power play. Weibo. Yeah. Not really much for them to do, is that? 369 has a teleport. Could join at a moment's notice. Feats of strength help him get some extra stats as well. And he has himself the upgraded steel caps. Hung needs to be a little bit careful there. Blocked out by the steadfast presence. Charm lands and the damage starts to come through. Xiaohu putting some damage back. Teleport coming in from Gwen. Kanavi has an ult. Does he want to go for an engage? Jumping forwards again, getting good damage down. Jackalov flashes out, wants to save his GA. The ult from Jhin, not getting much. No kills, but towers are forfeit here from Weibo. HP bar's low, but not low enough for Weibo to do anything about it. No objectives on the board. Weibo's base broken. Again. Rumble coming through. Okay, going straight in towards that Gwen. Flash forward for another steadfast presence to stop the Alistair from doing anything. This Poppy has been superb. The KDAs are on the carries of top esports, but honestly, my vote goes towards Crisp on the Poppy. Insanely good play from Crisp. Jackalov ends with a triple kill. The carries of top esports get the flowers. Cream will flash for wave clear. And top esports in a quick game, under 30 minutes, will put Weibo to rest. 1-0 in the series. And we move forwards in our best of 3. Get into the Scion Onivia. On to the rift we go.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
Jaculov. Level 1. No Q follow-up, though, from Light. Was out of range. Weibo... Well, both these teams strong... Strong ability to play around ranged carries. I'm kind of afraid that this Scion could just become unkillable. That being said, he is very good at killing him. Comparative to others. Because it does have to worry about the Swirl Seeds. Has to worry about the Talia. Good poke at level 1. That's really important, actually. Well, I think one of the ways that Weibo can get ahead in this game is by stopping that bot lane from popping off. And that's typically been Top Useful's weakness, really. Ooh, level 1 again. Sunlight passive helping. Light could have barriered that ignite. Chooses not to. Takes the damage full from it. Hung doing good job to get that Leona passive getting value. Tien on the bot side of the map. Raptors into Krugs. Going in towards enemy Gromp. Navi spotted on his Raptors. Tien knows he's safe to do this, and I think this is great because the way you shut down top Beatles is attack that bot lane early. No cleanse. First blood to the Ezreal. Tien's going to take aggro. Oh, Tien's made a mistake there, though. Made a mistake. Crisp. Double kill. That was too far. The first kill was fine. The second was not. 1 for 2. However, giving gold up to the Rel, not the worst. That's not the worst thing. The worst thing is that Tien is now slowed down. I guess it's a quick recall for dying under the turret, but... and can get out for farming again. Light gets 1 kill. He'll go back for that tier first. I mean, attacking bot lane early is the play, but you've got to attack it right. Flashes for the shield. Gets flipped back under turret, so Hung knows he's dead at that point. I wonder whether he could have just walked up then flashed out. Wanted to get there at a certain timing, though. Maybe Hung making the mistake of flashing first. Good response by Chris, blocking him under the turret. Thank you, Sol. You get 2 shots by turrets now? Yeah, towers are strong. It's one of the big things that they changed a while ago to stop tower dives coming in so early. Towers heat up very quickly. And despite, I don't know, the blueprint is you gank bot early. You still have to do it in the right way, folks. Tien doesn't have smite just yet, but he'll be coming up just quicker than Kanavi as he spots him over there. Kanavi, because bot lane has done its own thing on its own, he's got ahead in his individual jungle matchup. Go for the Raptor's steal. Has no smite to secure this as Tien. Gets the Swell Seed in there. I'm walking up. Crisp, no flash. Crashes down out of the first bit of CC. Shout who's here. Won't get the flick back, but that's still a dead Rel. Easy kill for Weibo as they picked it up for the Talia. Light and Hung. Spotted going to bot lane, so Jackal will be safe there. Kind of afraid that Kanavi's getting ahead too much. I think this Skarner getting ahead in the individual jungle matchup is quite a worry. Ooh, Kanavi flies past Tien there, unfortunately for him. Was there a shutdown on Rel? Actually, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't think so, given that it's only the 300 gold advantage for Xiaohu now on even farm. Maybe 100 gold if that. I didn't see. So why did Weibo go for the dive in the early? Sorry, just finishing off the conversation earlier about towers being so strong in the early game. Why did they go for it? Because they managed to get a level 2 to a level 1 dive. And they should have been able to trade 1 for 1. The fact that it was 1 for 2 is a problem. You shouldn't feel bad about trading support for AD carry there. The problem is also giving another kill over, which also stops Light from being able to stick around in lane and kind of punish Jackalope even more. Crisp is locked in today. Crisp has been good so far. Crisp has been good. Been enjoying his gameplay a lot. Ooh, ult coming through. After that, a shred from the Roar of the Slayer comes through. 369 flashes away. Good early gold lead for him, as you expect from the Jason, early lane versus tanks, but also worth noting he's gone for the Conqueror, not for the Grasp as well. Sometimes you still see them go for the Grasp, but Conqueror's so good versus tanks. Is Volibear bad in pro play? Well, if you're the Bouse, no. But that's in top lane. It's a little bit different. In jungle, I've not loved him. Come on, Weibo, show us something to go to... By the way, it's game 3. We don't say map in League of Legends. If you say map 3, it just shows you're betting on the games and you don't know the game. Give you that one for free. Because we only have one map, so it doesn't make sense. You know, if you're in a tactical shooter like CS, you do play on, you know, Cobblestone or Train or whatever. Different maps. Tian walking around the map has done a good job of getting good farm. 369 row flash, remember. Oh, 369's in a bit of trouble now. Going for the love 1v1 though. Has the Conqueror very strong. Knocks back Breathe to make sure that he can't charge up his Q. It'll be back up now. Flashes in front of the skill shot, and Breathe saves his jungler. Breathe really critical there that he saves him. Jace, no flash. Now behind, or even in gold. Rather, not behind in gold. Top esports really wanted that Jace to be ahead. That's a problem. Kill goes to TM. That Lilia can be a problem too. Ah, we ran through this already. Breathe. Really good job to flash in front of what could have been a shock blast. In 369, bopping back the Sion to make sure that the Q didn't come through has opened up that opportunity, but Breathe, good response. Small gold lead from Weibo. I am worried. I am worried that Sion's passive is going to... Not passive, is doubly passive. The Soul Furnace will get too much value later into the game. Cream going towards the Lethal Tempo Nash's Tooth build. Leandri's after, presumably. If Volley is kind of meta, is Yorick meta? Yorick got some changes on the patch, which is why you might, maybe see him as a counter pick here and there. Apparently Yorick is very good into Jace. I think they changed it so his ghouls aren't one-shot by auto-attacks anymore. So it's harder to get rid of a lot of Yorick's DPS, which is when he has 4 ghouls jumping at you with the goop. So if Jace is very pro, chance to have that. One of the negatives of Fearless Draft though is that what's the point of practicing Yorick into Jace if there's only one game of Jace in a series? Is it worth putting the time in for a single counter pick in a single game? Now if you can use it across a whole series, yeah, you see the value, right? That is one of the negatives. Whippo was talking about this on podcast or an interview recently. It is one of the negatives of Fearless is that it's not time efficient now to have these niche counter picks all the time, because if you don't see them in common matchups, sometimes it's just worth it saying, well, you know, I'll pick, you know, something different instead. Cream dodges out of that shove, uses the shield from the E, does take the damage from the minefield, but it goes into the shield, so could be worse. Cream caught again. Talia notoriously good into Azir this season. Something like, you know, 15-2 versus the pick. in top tier of play. Breathe has ult. Roaming up the river. Jace alone in the bot side of the map for now. Grub's going over to the side of Weibo. He'll be up to 5 total. Not the 6, because Kanavi managed to get 1 away. They didn't want to contest for this. 369 very nearly at the Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver plus Conqueror is where, yeah, Sion can really struggle in that matchup. Being a pro isn't about mastering 3 champions. It's about being great at every matchup. Well, people will always have specialties. You don't have to be great at every matchup. It just needs to be playable in the right situation, right? It needs to be good for your composition. Sense Blade lands, so it's the W. Jackalope has to flash out. Yeah, Aurelia is a very good Yorick counter. Yes, you're right. Because she just stacks up her passive instantly off your ghouls. Because your Q's are auto attacks, insta one shot. It's very bad. Nash is 2 for Cream now. Cream is going to be very critical to this game. If he gets to stand and fight and deal damage against the Sion and Leona, it's a lot of work done. Ult for Jackalope. Using the Battle Bunny, the Anima Squad Misfortune, not the Battle Bunny. Wait, is it technically Battle Bunny? Does she have another Battle Bunny skin? Well, whatever. It's the Anima Squad one, the one which came with Swarm. It was good. Got fun animations. Black Cleaver complete for 369. Sunfire for Breathe. Has Swifties as well, so we can play a little bit better around Jace jumping on him with the Q and getting that slow from the melee form. Dragon in 30 seconds. Top East was had the first one. Reminder that Weibo had a good early gold lead last game, and then threw it around top side of the map. And then really things went off the rails once they went towards that one dragon fight. One bad Realm Warp, one bad Alistair engage, and things kind of fell apart. Crisp has Flash, has ult. Flash on Kanavi, who has 1 item and Impale as well. Everyone on 1 item really, besides supports. Who cares about their itemization, right? Top East would love to play towards range advantage at these objectives where they can. It becomes a little bit harder with the Swell Seed. 369, going to jump over the minefield. Shahu does well to punt him back. Could have been nasty to the skies to land there. Top East, do they fight for this? No, it doesn't look like it. Well, they are around. What are they actually achieving here? No, nothing much. What they're achieving is allowing 369 to hit side lane minions. Kanavi fighting over the Scuttle. Kanavi needs to be a little bit careful here. Flashes out of Solar Flare. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Talia not on the same side of the map though. Shahu might need to teleport in. Kanavi, now he's caught out. Caught out of the Sion Q. Does have Impale. There is a Lilia ult to be thrown as well. Kanavi low HP. That should be dead. Realm Warp, not Realm Warp. The Rel comes in with the ultimate 1-for-1. Lilia down. Misfortune down. But Breathe is also low. Where are the res? Where's the damage? 369 needs to get something done. Double shove over the wall from Shahu. Great damage coming in from Talia. As it's a clean, well, not a clean wipe. 5-for-1. Triple kill for Light.
Blue team double kill.
Weibo threw around the dragon the last time. This time, I think they will be feeling a lot better about this. I mean, the Ezreal gets to do so much more than Misfortune, who gets jumped onto by the Talia coming through. No bullet time in that fight. Oh, Cream flashes forward, doesn't kill Breathe. Leave himself out of position. I think Navi had an awkward fight as well. Big, big win for Weibo there. Shahu very far ahead now, 3-0-3. Light very far ahead. 1.7k up on Jaculov. Weibo are a team that we have considered a top team now for a number of years. They kind of made a super team in 2023. Brought Xiaohu and the Shy to the roster. After, of course, Xiaohu was on RNG. That was a special time, actually. Casa was on that initial roster, too. They got a little bit humbled. Things struggled to work out for them. But they still made a World Finals in 2022. 23, rather. 24, things got a little bit different. Hang on, breathe. Doing a lot of good work here. He's winning the 1v1. Yeah, Simon Swift, he's going to walk you, can't he? .369 heading a tower on the other side of the map. But they're down a lot of gold now, comparative to where they should be. Cream, spotted out, recalling here. Solar Flare comes down, he doesn't have a flash. In comes the Ezreal ultimate, the Ezreal combo, and the ultimate from the Azir means nothing. The play from Weibo around the map, they get themselves the Herald. This is looking pretty good for Weibo, isn't it? Dragon in a minute. Next port of call. Herald to be used by Weibo somewhere. With 5 grubs, they can use that to set up the map, kind of brute force a lane push. They've already got the outer turrets though, so they have a lot of gold from that. So what do top people do? They'd love to play around range, but I don't know whether they can do that. Misfortune doesn't poke out. Her E is helpful. Azir is lower range than the Talia, sadly for him. Ezreal's long range. You need Jace to be doing a lot of poke work. Passive used by Azir. Doesn't have ult just yet. .369 trying to get a good bop on Breathe. He still has ult though. That's the best you're going to get from this. Oh, knocks up Knavi just as he comes in. Well played by Breathe. Crisp and Jackalove on this side now. Cream playing alone on the other side of the map. Again, the best you're going to get is the ult. Uses the ult from the Rel? I think you've got to flash in front of him first if you see that, right? Maybe thought he could CC combo him. Not to be. Top Esports really struggling to land good plays here now. .369, yes, going to get a side lane tower, but Cream's going to die on the other side of the map. No tower for him to defend himself besides his own Sundisk, and that is not nearly enough. Tian picks up the kill. Against his old mid laner from last year. Tian, long-time player on Top Esports. Going to get some revenge here, of course. Dragon is available. Top Esports have given up control on the bot side of the map. Left Cream to his own misery there. This Azir is not happy. Azir needs to be very far ahead of the Talia to feel good about things. That's a combo from the Leona. I don't know whether that's great. The Pale comes through. Hung still has flash though, and he'll feel okay about that. Chris doesn't have his ult. Bullet time gets nothing done. Talia comes through, and he'll start comboing through. Jackalove has to flash out of the play. Light very nearly goes down, but he still has more HP than Zero. So we'll make it out of that. Dragon goes the way of Weibo. And Top Esports, yeah, this is smelling like a game 3, isn't it? 6 game day. Wanted a really quick day today. Not to be. What happens here? Well, One just walks up, gets him with the Q, gains Lear. Lilia completely finish off the deal. I just don't know what Top Esports are doing around the map. I don't get it. I think their team fighting has been very awkward here. Not landing the... I think Crisp has had a bad game. Cream's once again on the weak side of the map. He will die here. Oh, Tien, has he got aggro? No, he doesn't. Xiaohu does, but it doesn't matter. The Sundisk not enough. Tien, very, very strong now. Did Light pick that up? I didn't even catch that on the kill feed. True shot barrage. Nice. Snipe from downtown. Get on the side lane as well. Breathe. Strong as hell, by the way. Yes, there's a Conqueror. Yes, Jace does nasty things, but he doesn't do that in a 1v2. Steps out of the... dodges everything for now. I still think he's dying, folks. He's definitely dying. Roll. The Slayer comes through. Extra auto attack. Top Esports are falling apart. Weibo have been far better on the map. Tien hung on every side lane. Cream not able to farm. Weibo so much quicker on the calls. Can't start it up is the Ruinous version. With 5 grubs and a couple of dragons, you will take that, especially the flowers that it could put towards you. Teleport back onto the map. Cream, look, he's down 2,000 gold. He does have 2 items. I guess he does need to fight something. Breathe. He has ult and flash. He doesn't die here. Flashes first. Impale misses. He still has ult. Oh, Kanavi may be over chasing now as well. Hex flash potentially forwards. Blue trinket spots that though, Leona, which was the flash from Kanavi. Cream back towards mid lane. I mean, top esports. I think this game has already, sadly, fallen out of your decision. You now need to wait for mistakes, really. And they're so hard to pick on because you don't respond that quickly. You don't really have the damage where it needs to be. I suppose the Lord Dominus Regards on Jackalope helps in terms of shredding that Scion, who's got a lot of armor in inventory. Cream has the magic damage to help with that too. I think Black Cleaver and then the Lord Doms might be able to shred through that, but I just don't think there's any world in which Weibo let top esports set up for a kill cleanly. Atacon started up. Cream no teleport this time. Maybe just letting this one go. And top is just slow on the map. What do they do? Take the mid turret. Notice that this is going down. Know that they can't go towards it. That'll go down. Do they get a turret? Objective bounties available for them. Cream gonna head over to the other side of the wall. Has the Nash's through. Can they actually... Oh, great catch onto Xiaohu. Is that gonna be enough? Yes, it is. Ezreal ult comes through. Remember, no grubs though. Scion ults too late. Kill, which is a shutdown, and an objective bounty. That's good. That is good. Kill goes to Cream as well, who was 2k down, now 0.5. That is important. We know that Weibo, they've known to throw a game lead or two. Oopsies. That could be the start of it. Turret goes down there, and the turret will recoup some of that gold that they just lost in the mid lane. Xiaohu trying to save the turret. Don't think he realized that Jackalope was quite as close as he thought he would be. Gets caught by the Zero. If he flashes over the Zero, probably safe. I don't know. Can I be flying over the wall? Maybe not, actually. Well, Cream's happier now. Closer towards that Void Staff. 3 items. I mean, Azir can kill the front line, can't he? Nash's Tooth first item is bad. Well, the thing is, if you're going against the Scion and you need to be DPS, it needs to be that item. For Azir, if you need to be DPS, that's what you have to go. I mean, if you're going towards the Shuffle build, you can go towards Leandry's first and then kind of play around that. But the Nash's is so important for you getting gold in side lane for a lot of stuff. Jaculov has cleanse. Might need to use it, actually. Half his HP. Needs to use that Bloodthirster, killing off the Gromp. We'll have a little bit more HP to deal with. The range of Weibo actually coming into play here. Breathe. Has that Q to ward off if he wants to. Dragon going down would be Soul Point. Cream hit with that, and he doesn't have a cleanse. Solar Flare used. Not a bad bullet time onto 3, and here comes Rel. Is that enough? I think it is. Weibo, it's another dragon fight going so badly wrong for them. 369 running into Light. Light will claim that. The dragon goes to top esports. Where is the damage? Light is still alive, but top esports from the position in the game have done an incredible job to work into that point. A 5,000 damage fight from Cream, setting that up for success. Yes, Weibo's still ahead in gold, but that is a real reality check. The Azir is online, and if the Misfortune gets an ult, Weibo do not win fights for free. What did that even end up being? 2 for 3? I think all things said and done. Was it 2 for 2? Trying to remember if Xiaohu got into that play as well. Hard to check sometimes. Bad bullet time. Impale. into the bullet time. Absolutely insane. Then the rel comes through to lock them down as well. 2 frontliners immediately blasted. Dragon goes down too, of course. Dragon killed. Very close to killing TM. 2 for 2. 2 for 2, all things said and done. And that Cream almost dead even in terms of gold with the Xiaohu. Top Esports have a lot of damage. Infinity Edge for Jacula. Void Staff for Cream. Those items weren't even in last time. 2,000 gold down on the Ezreal, yes. But that bullet time, if it hits the team, if there's an impale there, it changes everything. Kanavi knocked out of his Ixtal's impact. 369 going on towards Xiaohu. The Ezreal will hit him. He's not dead yet. Hex Drinker came through, I believe, there, actually. Or was that the Feats of Strength? No, it was the Hex Drinker's the Feats of Strength around Weibo. Saw a little magic shield on him. I was like, didn't realize that was the thing. Hex Drinker coming in important there. Almost a nice pick from Xiaohu's Talia. 3 items on the carries. Yeah, I think top Esports can play around that. Good damage. If you get an Impale into those 2, that's enough. Crisp and Kanavi just need to pin someone in front of those 2 for an amount of time when they die. Still, Weibo ahead of the game. Just that gold lead didn't lead to, you know, completely game-ending moments. Rift Makers, Leandries, and then also the Seekers on Tien, it means he's so ready to fight. This game is still very much throwable. Yeah, every game is always throwable if you throw hard enough. Weibo are definitely a team which we've had worries about that before. Of course, they claimed the Atakan earlier, which gives them some value on their grubs and the dragons. Got a lot of the flowers as well, which is why they're up 20. Gives them some more XP, it gives them some more adaptive force as well. Jacula has himself Twifties, makes it a lot easier for him to position now too. I really want to see Cream do a DPS check on Breathe, actually. I want to see how quickly he can get him down with a couple of soldiers wailing with the auto attacks. Well, that's alright, isn't it? Damn, actually, there's a lot of damage to Breathe, thinking about it. I don't think it took him that long to go towards that. Gets control over the side lane. Jay's still ahead of the sign. You would kind of expect that. He got given a lot of side lane gold. I don't know what his 3rd item will be, actually. He might complete the more fully up. Help him dive onto Xiaohu, because I think Xiaohu's winning the 1v1 versus him right now, which is a bit of a problem. Death Cap, speaking of that, built up for the Talia. More completed. There we go. 369 has that. Maybe he'll fare a little bit better with the Merc Treads and the Maw against the Talia. It's actually not built to completely deal with the Siren. Has the Conqueror? Yes. Has the Black Cleaver? Yes. But honestly, this is more about diving onto the Talia because he's been losing that 1v1. Maybe the Lilia too if the situation calls for it. Reset's coming cleanly for top Esports. Baron has been started up, but top Esports got the reset they needed to spend their gold. That's why they gave up control around this Baron. Xiaohu on the side, positioning for a wall. 369 wants to use his range if he can. Here comes Hung. They're peeling off of this. The Ezreal doesn't really land. And now actually there's a bit of a worry. Double sleep comes through. Cream doesn't have this, but there's no damage coming through. Kanavi gets an Impale onto the Talia and gets the flash out. Kanavi might die. Cream trying to go for a shuffle, but just doesn't get the value. Gets something onto Tien. Rel comes in for the extra engage. Where is the damage? Cream is down. Jacula is alive. 369 is alive too. We said he could deal with the backline, and indeed he does. Gets the flip back onto Light, and oh, it was throwable. It was always throwable. 369 with a quadra kill. Throw a 4 at the end of 369. Top Esports walk away with a huge team fight. 7,000 damage done by Cream before he hits the floor. And Weibo, they let the carries come online. Xiaohu caught out by Kanavi. Don't know how he got hit by the Impale into the bullet time. Light hands on head. Jackalov has a Bloodthirster. He can go and do the extra damage towards it. Jace comes in. He'll be able to tank it for him. That'll be Baron to top Esports against the run of play. Weibo, what is happening? The resets came through for top esports. They have all the gold up they need. Hun goes deep and just doesn't get the CC on the targets he needs to. Zenplate's down. The sleep's okay. It is onto both. It's onto the Rel and onto the Misfortune, onto both bottomless. Cream completely shreds Breathe. Sion doesn't get any value down. And Tien, I don't know. It's caught out in the middle of nowhere. Cream at least dies because Light Ghost falls onto him. But he flashes forwards to confirm the kill. It means he doesn't have that. 369 gets his movement speed. Light doesn't hit enough Qs. Cream completely shreds the front line, so Breathe doesn't really get to impact the fight. Damn. Oof. Animated. Dragon claim from Weibo, but Baron, of course, in the hands of top esports. This is a very strong Azir now. Has a Zhonya's, allows him to sweep easier. 1,000 gold up from being 2,000 gold down. 3,000 gold swing across the course of the game. Level 18, so the experience you got from the flowers didn't really mean that much. Kanabi, even though he's not, you know, got a ton of gold, still useful in with the Impale. Tien has a Zhonya's, definitely helps him play more aggressively. Top esports ahead in gold. Damn. And you know what? I think that with 3,000 gold, the advantage for 369 is Shojin. I think I think top esports are I think he might have outscaled at this point. The Sion doesn't feel unkillable in the same way that Flandre and Bin were in previous games. Freeman 369 on the sideline. Shy needs to be a little bit careful. Yeah, Shock Blast hurt. They really hurt. Navi walking up. Hard for the Ezreal to deal with here, actually. There's some damage down. It's half the HP, but it does take him about, you know, 5-6 seconds to chunk through that. And Kanavi always just scuttle away. Cream gets out of the Solar Flare. Hung's cooldown's not been the best used in this game. Baron about to fall off. Not the biggest Baron power play, but it has brought map control. Has brought push into different sides of the map, gives them vision in a way that Weibo were really controlling them before. In top esports, there were LPL champions for a reason, right? Regionally, very, very dominant. Jackalope gets himself a QSS, fully upgraded into the Mercurial Scimitar. He is very, very happy with that. Double cleanse now to play around. The movement speed with the Swifties as well, not to be understated. Spirit Visage for Kanavi. Magic Resist will definitely come in handy. I mean, Ezreal's almost full build, but I just don't feel like I've been talking about Light that much. Don't feel like I've needed to. Some of the early game fights, yes, it's like, goddamn, so far ahead of the Misfortune. But Misfortune has the bullet time. The bullet time's been more important than the Ezreal's poke and his DPS and his ults. Now it's come down to the point where, you know, even if you land a Swirl Seed onto the Azir, that's a Zhonya's through it. Makes it harder to pick that off. BLG will crush top esports? Maybe. But they'll have to prove it. I think top esports are a good enough team regionally to push them, especially with Wei Elkanon having some questionable games from time to time. Invictus Gaming, similar story. Kanavi going forwards. Gets the ult out of Breathe for just the Ixtal's impact. Turret down. Dragon in a minute. Will be Cloud Soul for Weibo. Does that change anything for them? To an extent, yeah. Makes it a lot easier for Sion to play. Lilia likes it as well. And the movement speed for Lilia always important, of course. Ooh, double W's actually from the Ezreal. God damn, he has so much cooldown reduction. Full build Ezreal, of course. Q's hitting. Swell Seed onto Kanavi. Light doing a lot of work here. Good skill shot accuracy. If he hits all of them, of course his cooldowns get down a lot lower. Dragon in 30 seconds. That Ezreal poke could be critical. Here comes 369. He has the Shock Blast. That is really the big poke on the map. Cream has teleport, can tank up a little bit more. Puts his turret up in the mid lane to make sure that they will get guaranteed priority here on this tower. And I think that actually, honestly, Waper a little bit out of position. Going to cut off the wave now. Shock Blast lands onto Light. Jackalope walking up. Remember, he has double cleanse. Really hard to force onto him. Kanavi going through the wall, and Tien's a little bit out of position. Hung's also out of position. Light goes back. Hung has the flash walls. You use the Impale on him now? No, they wait a little longer because Sion's coming into the play. Now he might now be out of position. We've switched sides of the map, and I really feel like Top East was the ones getting the best out of this. Bullet time comes through. Now that one's a bit of a lost combo. Breathe has a teleport. If he can get himself a recall, that changes stuff. Top East will say, well, okay, we didn't get the best out of that. Maybe we can go towards the dragon instead. Sion will recall. Doesn't have the ultimate. We go onto the dragon. I don't know if we want to be flipping this. Is that really the play? Crisp has a flash. Could go for a big combo. Sion teleporting behind them. Impale comes through. Light has to use everything. And Chris goes in to the backline. Cream, can he get anything done? That's Leona down, but that's just the support. There's no cleanse on the Zero, remember. Uses the Zhonya's and goes into it, but that's damage down. He's where he goes forward. Does get there before he dies. Jackalope alive, and that might be enough. No! Jackalope has gone down. And Top East was, they flubbed this fight. Weibo, they've made it to the end of the game. I think they have. They don't get themselves the soul, but I think it'll be enough to walk down into the back side of this. Cream goes into the minefield and kills himself. Top Esports fail at the final hurdle. Long death time is 20 seconds on Crisp. Is that enough? Ruinous out to Khan, 5 grubs. Could Crisp go in and clear the wave? I don't know. I think this is this game. I don't think Chris can solve it. Light has a lot of damage to towers with so much cooldown reduction. His W's onto structures does a lot. Do they believe in the fact that they can do that? Chris is hit by the Ezreal ult. Sion into the towers. It's one of them down. Chris needs to clear the wave somehow. By enough time, I think that's it. Light just hops over. The CC doesn't land, and we will be going to a 6-game day. Top Esports versus Weibo. Going the distance after one dragon fight in the late game. Doesn't love starting fights into Braum, worth noting. Explosive pick for Jackalope. He was the Draven main before he came into pro play. He used to stream it back in, what, 2016 or so. To like 60,000 people. And his community said, hey, if you think you're so good, why don't you go pro? He did, and he won Worlds. His Draven, arguably his most famous champion. It's definitely up there. Weibo facing against it in game 3. Last game of one last time today. See how the crowd feels. Two different people calling for Weibo. WBG and Weibo. I also think Top Esports only held the 2 crowd cheers in there. A bit disorganized. But the passion's there. Comet on Xiaohu, not going towards the phase rush. Both mid laners going Comet. The poke in this lane is very important, going for that long range Victor E and the QW combos. Once you hit level 6, Orianna starts to take control of the matchup a little bit because you outrange a lot of what Victor wants to do in terms of walking up to the wave. That shockwave, of course, longer range than something like your dissonance, and of course the command attack. Starting with that Q level early on. Cream, if he starts with his own Q, can get out traded. Cream, what does he start now? Does he want to go for the Q? Yeah, he does. Gets his Q on target. Ah, but then you're going into the clockwork windup, and you also tank the wave. So Xiaohu gets the better at level 1. Your Q is comparable in cooldown at rank 1. Early bot lane, of course, very important too. Didn't see whether Chris started the W or the Q level 1. Typically against harder lanes, you start with the W to get the extra shield. Get your aftershock with your auto attack instead of your W. Can tank up a skill, can be very important. Jekyll having to drop an axe to dodge the Foss bomb. Level 2 being hit now by both sides. Hook goes in, it's onto the Braum, and the shield blocks a bit of damage. However, it's not that much damage reduction. Is that going to be enough to guild you to a kill? Double flashes out. Cleanse, ignite on one side, flash barrier, and the ignite comes through as well from Hung. So it wasn't double flash, my apologies there. Single flash. .369. Breathe on the top side. Breathe getting the early push, actually, using his passive to get extra attack speed. If you allow Jax access to a wave, of course pushes in well with the extra attack speed. Breathe, a very strong Jax play for 369. Arguably stronger Renekton player. Renekton's been notable for many, many years. Won him great many a game. Trade mid lane close as well. But all of these lanes very active. No rage here on 369. Breathe not wanting to stick around too far though. Didn't have any mana. Ooh, good W on target. Of course he has the grasp for those short trades. Good early trading by Breathe actually. Maybe knowing that because there's a Draven in the game, very unlikely for people to head towards his lane. And if he does die on top side early or has to flash, maybe it gives his team a chance to shut down the Draven instead. Now that you've lost summoners on bot side, that could be a bit of a problem. TN on bot side. Again, typically the way you deal with Jackal and Crisp is you gank him early, you make him play with the minimap on. Kanavi full clear, recalling the brush. Hasn't taken top scuttle yet. Recalls, goes towards that, make sure the wave is safely shuffled into tower. Ooh, stops the recall. Nice. Does that open up anything for Kanavi? Nah, probably not. Green pushing in mid lane. Shahu knows that his jungle has been seen. Top is what's going to lose. I've said that many times before and I've been wrong about it. Hard to predict these two teams. The winning position doesn't necessarily always work out. He misses that. Shahu gets the last cannon. Of course, Victor gains a lot of value for him getting good farm. Draven already free farming? Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Switching out of the lanes. Renekton, good trade there. Level 5 to level 3, of course. And, lower level support. Grub spawning in 40 seconds, which is why the change comes through. Jax picking up wave on bot side. Recall coming now from the bot side. Ah, Breathe gets to stop this, though. Stops any auto attack, turnaround coming through with his counter strike. And now that means there's no good reset coming in for them to go top side if they want to contest for the grubs. Tian on bot side. Guess there's the chance of Sidwani Nautilus doing something against this Jax. For a second I thought Orianna went Shao. Ooh. Fun. Level 6 hit from the Orianna. Can sometimes use that ult for poke now. Especially if you can get into an extra QW trade. Get them below half HP and they typically don't want to stay in lane. Knive up towards those grubs even though Spot lane were forced to stop their recall. Light and Hung now going down towards bot side. And we'll have the Draven versus the Corki again. 10 CS lead for Draven. Dangerous lane swapping with a Draven in the game. Even into the, after the first few waves of the game because if you lane swap, you have a 2v1. Draven, more likely to cash in a kill. Because he's on the strong side of the map. Back into our standard lanes though. XP, slight advantage for 369, worth noting. Although the wave will be crashing in, so Breathe will be able to pick up most of that deficit. Chance of Kanavi going in for the ult. Waiting to see if he can force the flash early. And he does. No flash for Kanavi. Used, or his ult. Jaculov. A little bit in danger though, because his jungle was spotted mid lane. Q misses from Hung though. No threat. No cleanse used. Crisp. Spotted by TN. Kanavi's here. Draven wouldn't be able to come to the play right now. We might get ourselves a bit of collapse. Draven pushing up bot lane now. Dangerous going into that kind of play, though, when Sejuani's early damages are so high. Yeah, I was surprised at that too, Slovakia, by the way. I thought that the backstop onto Jakalev maybe thought Weibo could go towards those grubs on top side, especially since they rotated up there early, but I guess the goal was to not have to play into the Draven lane. Light and Hung, always clearing out here. Jakalev's Draven, of course, terrifying prospect of facing up against in many a year. Won a game with it earlier in playoffs and split one. Kanavi on top side. Renekton Sejuani comes through. Doesn't even need to use the Sejuani ult at first because you can use it to get the double passive proc. Great damage. Breathe goes down for first blood. Great gank by Kanavi. 369 setting up for that nice and well. 369 used the last of his dominance. Push in the wave. Doesn't get a plate, sadly for him. Los Platos will be denied. The crockery farm not open for business just yet. Splitting lanes again a little, well, no, resetting our lanes now. Breathe on top side. Tien coming in to just help his bot lane now. Jakalev gonna get access to this tower though. Demolish. Plate taken by Jakalev and Chris. Gold lead increases. Later into the game. Weibo, I mean, I don't think it's as easy as jumping on the Draven, you know. Killing the Draven is obviously important, but I think Renekton and Sejuani do a good amount of burst. They'll take someone off the board. Victor's good at punishing if you dive onto another target as well. Weibo are in a bit of a pickle here. I think if Corki gets fed, the damage from the Corki will outweigh a lot of what can come in from top esports. Corki does a lot of damage. He is high DPS champion. It's one of the reasons why he has been seen so much. If Draven gets a cash in, maybe we'll talk about something different. Going towards the Bloodthirster first. Not able to get himself towards BF sword in his build just yet, sadly for him. .369, maintaining a healthy gold lead after that first blood. More importantly, maintaining control. Grubs spawning on top side. Top esports could get 6. Weibo, of course, have the early dragon. Are you really letting all this go? Not even looking for one smite steal? I guess you don't want to go into the Draven half-heartedly because Chancellor comes in and gets the shutdown. Cash him, rather. 369. A lot of damage. Does have the teleport. Might want to recall just so he can be on call for the dragon. 6 grubs to top esports very easily. Weibo don't really feel like they can make aggressive plays. Light wave clearing away as best he can. Jakalev with the 6 grubs though can walk up, use the mites, and hit the tower a little bit more. No Q hitting that. Minions saving Jakalev. Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Weibo, I mean, if they can get towards 2 dragons, work towards the Dragon Soul condition. Dragons have kind of won out for the teams, they went out for the teams which play the fights better. Not necessarily always about the team which has all of them, I suppose. Been a bit secondary. The soul's not necessarily going in condition. Tien forced onto, has the shield and has himself an ultimate. Doesn't get to use it though. Chaos Storm comes down. Once again, another clean engaged by Kanavi Sejuani. Opens up the dragon start. Tien feeling a bit lost really in this game. Not been able to do that much. Even as the Shinzao, that was prioritized quite heavily. Well, not prioritized quite heavily, came in late, but you know what I mean. He's been prized and is high priority within the LPL. Oh, man. Long day today, folks. Sorry if I'm dropping off in energy. Six scrubs make it so easy for top pieces to play the game for now. Weibo can't find aggressive options. They can play slow, wait for a big Draven cash-in moment. Got a recall. Recalled out for now. Has Dominus. Chris coming up. Yeah, even in a 1v3. Renekton's scary. If he gets an empowered cube, things get nasty. Draven can ult across the map. In fact, he might just be here in general. Got to be careful for that cash, and they use a lot of damage onto the Renekton. Not the best in the shockwave. Misses the Draven. Oh, Xiaohu. That could be important. Flash away from Tien. Does Brave need to do the same? No. He will get Heartsteel. Top esports. Well, they don't have to commit anything, do they? Now they have the 6 scrubs. Renekton will go towards the bot side of the map. Breathe will recall, teleport in there as well. Draven not able to get the cash in, so Weibo will deny that. 6 scrubs onto the tower. Get to walk up. Hit it. Apply the DOT. No shockwave to deter them on this. That'll be another play. Easy to play around, isn't it? Cream getting some more gold for himself. Jackalope farming up here. 3 waves being farmed by top esports. You can see that top of your screen. Gold lead. You know, 1 bit K. We'll take that. Xiaohu, no ult again. 6 scrubs will mean the death of this tower. Nautilus ult comes through. And here comes Kanavi. Draven gets the shutdown, gets the cash in. That is huge. Didn't see the amount of gold, it was off screen, but I think this is a slow slip now, turning into a free fall from Weibo. They just can't defend their turrets. They just can't defend their turrets. So, Jackalope was about 400 gold up. How much is he now? That gold, oh my god, the gold lead's gone to 5,000. 1.9k ahead. It was about a 1.5k cash in then, wasn't it? Holy moly. Jackalope's going to go back and he's almost going to fall by a, you know, an infinity edge or something, isn't he? Whatever the hell he wants. Yeah. Good luck, Weibo. Jackalope's Draven's fed. Recall completes from Breathe. He's safe there. Dragon up in 2 minutes, Herald up in 30. I think if you get... if top esports get Herald, they just group up and they smash through one lane, don't they? Great CC combo. Nautilus ult, Sejuani. Draven comes in. How much gold was that? Show us the gold. Oh, I didn't show us the number. I like seeing the number. Too many stacks is what it was. Knive even gets like a bunch of Heartsteel stacks too. I think he gets... did he get 2 or just the 1? Maybe just the 1, actually. So much gold. Thank you, top esports, for saving your kidney. Well, they might have put it in danger earlier. So, you know. Ka-ching, cash money, gold chains, bling bling. Yep, that's the soundtrack. Oh, Draven's so fed. He's so fed. Crystal has flash, has ult coming back up again. Jackalope still has all of his summoners. That's the problem, right? You haven't even managed to force Draven to use his summoners, and he's really fed. You need to shut him down, but the best you're going to be able to do is, I don't know, force his flash? Pong dodges that on the ult. Lucky to get away with that one, but has to use his flash. And he's off the map. Herald's up. Still have Chaos Storm. So while you might not be able to engage that much, Breathe. Yeah, he's not feeling happy about that. Doesn't have teleport reminders, so you can't go back into the map. Suddenly top lane is off the map. That's important. Jack's counter strike could have done something for them. Oh, flash forward. Xiao, who does have flash, and the shockwave does land. Has his flash at the cost of Chris. 369. Is he within flash double range? Yes, he is. Cream comes in, and Xiao, who it's been a bad day at the office for him, hits the ground. Top esports have 6 scrubs. Have a Herald, and they'll slam it into that mid lane turret. How many turrets is this going to be? Is this going to be 2 turrets? It's 1 very easily. Immediate charge again. Dodges around this. There's so many mites. There are so many mites. Breed's coming in. Has flash. Half the turret's gone down. Actually, let's make that the whole turret. And it's even more kills. The Shinzo ultimate will not save him. Breed comes in for a counter-strike. Gets 1 back onto Renekton, but Draven is full HP. 1 for 1 so far, but the turret's making this much better for top esports. Breed didn't really manage to achieve that much. Will be spotted by Kanavi. The gold lead's exploded. 7,000 gold lead. 2.5k in the pockets of Dracula. It was part of the Herald kill, so they got the Empowered Recall. Full Infinity Edge built up. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? Weber just don't have it. They don't have the combat stats. They don't have the combat stats. They're using stuff for disengage. The shockwave onto a target. He doesn't die. Gets to heal it with a bloodthirster. Goes down. Weibo feel like they just don't know where to be on the map. The 6 grubs made it so hard to defend their turrets. They tried anyway. They lost gold. Cash-ins came in. Drake can do what the heck he wants now. Objective bounce is available for Waver. Well, speed to strength obviously picked up by top esports. Wave clear will come in from Draven. But except it won't because the door's there. And we'll use the shield to make sure that Xiao can claim that. And make sure the minions are not claimed by the Draven. Would have one-shot the wave. Maybe caused it another wave to be claimed. 6 grubs being used on the bot side instead though. Demolish. 6 grubs being used for that DOT from both Crisp and Cream. Crispy Cream. Tower destroying and donut making. Kanavi comes in as well. Don't know where he falls into that equation. Another inner turret. Objective bounty on top side helps blunt a little bit of that trade, but still, inner turret for outer turret. Top esports feeling happy about just continually denying areas of the map from over. Rod of Ages hasn't even stacked and feels like the game's already over, doesn't it? Shahu with the Seraphs on the other side of it. Has his stacking item complete. XP advantage for Light. I mean, look, Jagulev has both summoners. I don't even think this means that much. Stand aside, stop Shahu from being able to press his buttons for a half second. Jagulev walks back in. Kanavi has ultimate. Dashes back to his tower. Hang on, Crisp and Cream. The Donut Bros. On a long creative flank. 369 protecting his bot lane turret. Why about having to group up in the fog of war this early into the game? Not able to play through side lanes. Not able to... Well, they're farming like 1 wave right now. Top easels have the mid lane inhibitor and the bot lane inhibitor. They can force waves so far into Weibo's side of the map. They just can't... They can't walk up and put vision. They don't have a platform to play off of. 369, happy to play on... Look, even if they dive this, he can just ult and clear the wave. In fact, he should do that right now. That's in fact exactly what he does. Drop wave goes in with that ult combo. Dominus comes through. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. Will he get more than this though? No, he won't. He goes down. Very close. But a kill goes on to 369. Does that open up a tower killing opportunity? Well, I mean, on the other side of the map, Atakan's going to be taken by top esports. Wave clear coming in from the Draven. And Braum stop it again. Yeah, he can actually. Stops on the first champion hit. Xiao teleporting to the top side of the map to collect a wave. Another, well, it's not an objective anti this time. Gold lead reduced to just under 6k. Atakan comes through. It's the GA version, so top esports can use that to force as many players as they want. Well, a big player, I suppose. Who got the kill on that play? Well, it would have been... Was it Bree? Or was it Hung? Might have been the Ignite from Hang, actually. Cream going forwards. Of course, has the heart steal. Very tanky. Wants to maybe just get the stack. Oh, uses his ult. God damn, it's a lot of work. Chris, does he want to throw his ult on him? Try and punish him as soon as that wears off. Not the longest to cooldown, or not longest duration on that ult. Have the 6 grubs, can walk up. Use those mites from everyone here. Everyone taking over that DOT from the grubs. And that's what'll happen. 369 in the mid lane. Has flash, has ult. Completely safe to do so. This is the point of power 2 items where Renekton is very hard to deal with in a quick enough time span. Not gonna lie, when I saw the first pick Corki for Weibo, I knew that the game was cooked for them. I thought they should have taken the Sejuani super early. I thought the Sejuani would have been so big. Very powerful champion, but not choosing to go towards it. That one's a bit beyond me. Now Renekton pushing out bot side. The Atakan running out in a minute. Will be used potentially for the dragon. Not really sure what Weibo can do. Hextech Soul, of course, on the board. And Hextech Rift. 3 dragons potential for top esports. That's the next one. Oh, so much vision denial. So much vision denial. Weibo have to be so careful. And because they have to be so careful, they have to lose things. They have to drop things across the map. Now, Kanavi's Sejuani, not something I've always wanted to see him on. Prefer him on harder carry picks, but it's been very good here today. I say here today. It's just the one game of it, right? Don't get multiple games of it in Fearless. I kind of miss seeing multiple games of the same champion from players so I can build up an association of them. See their mastery on a pick. See if one game is an outlier. Sample size goes way down for them. Dragon's going to go. Weibo use this time to say, well, if we take the dragon, at least we can get some wards down. Breathe on the top side, puts down a pink ward. That's what they're trying to do. Just give an option. They know Baron starts spawning in 30 seconds. Control ward, I think spotted out, actually. Cream looking to push in across the map again. Walking. Oh, great hook onto the Shin Zhao. Ult comes through from the Nautilus as well. Navi, very tanky. Shin Zhao ult down. Dragon spawning, not dragon spawning, Baron spawning now. Tien without a flash, without an ult. Much harder for him to play the game. There is a ward behind enemy lines. I think 369 spotted this out earlier. I think he's going to clear this now. Yeah, I think there was a pick on the map, and indeed they go to get that. Make sure there's no flank angle. Now 369 has to... Wait, hang on. You were starting a fight in a 4v5. 4v4, rather. Breathe wasn't there either. Hung. Forced on by Cream. Chaos Storm comes through. It's not a bad shockwave. This is no damage before it. There's no damage behind it. The Counter-Strike's good too, but the Chaos Storm goes absolutely mental. Jaculov goes forwards, the axes come through, and I think Top Esports may have just put their finishing touches on this game. Where do you go towards? Baron? Yeah, go towards Baron. Why not? Only Breathe left alive to tell a tale. Chris traded his life for the 4-for-1. Top Esports will take the Baron and cleanly stomp ahead in this game. This is while both top laners are off the map. They go for this fight while 369 is clearing a ward. 369 puts down the Chaos Storm very early. Wants to get the reset on it, of course, to increase the size of it. Shockwave comes in, but there's just no damage behind it. There's nothing on it. He has to drag the Chaos Storm over Light Corki. Light Corki's done nothing this game. That Corki's been so ineffectual. Ineffective, I suppose. 10,000 gold lead now. 404 for Jaculov. Can't find him. Team red buff secured. Baron buff, of course, still ticking over for the next 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes. So that's 5 waves. Each wave is 30 seconds. Okay, Chris doesn't have the flash now, and he's going up a little bit alone. Nautilus ult hits onto him. That'll be a free kill. Bush Brave from Weibo works out. Does that really lead to that much for the team? Green for wave clear. That's not really what they wanted to do. Bradfield comes through. Ult comes through. Hang on, that's in a 1v4 situation. Ult goes on to the team from Kanavi. This is a 2v4. Tien pops his ultimate. Chaos Storm's now down. They use the Brawl Mob, but look how powerful this Victor is. 2-0 and 7. Rod of Ages Leandri's Light jumps forward with the Valkyrie. I am not so sure about that one. Cream doesn't have Flash. Kanavi doesn't either, but he is very, very tanky. Shockwave comes through, and Top Esports have kind of gone about the map a little bit too much. Well, all that's happening. 3-6 time is killing an inhibitor. Weibo don't have the troops to answer everywhere. They do get good punishes onto Crisp and to Kanavi, but that is an inhibitor down. Goldly still increasing for Top Esports throughout this Baron buff. Jackalope can walk up, teleport onto the map now from Cream. He'll go join everyone back. Weibo have had to reset in very strange positions, so they're not in position to defend base. Still 10,000 gold to lead. Minute until Dragon. There were some wards dropped by Weibo, but this feels so just awful. I mean, they can't do anything about this Victor. This Victor is just shredding them. Gone towards the Zhonya's instead of something like the Riftmaker, so more raw AP than anything else. Jackalope has no flash. Chance of a Shockwave doing something. In fact, that Q hitting, I was wondering if they'd even pull it there. Trying to wave clear. He has 6 scrubs. Even single auto attacks on the tower become a problem. Cream is so tanky and has his Q shields that feels pretty bad to go towards 2. Shockwave threat is just not there. Cream can walk up, sees the ball, says, okay, press your R button. Doesn't even matters. Has the Zhonya's too if things get too hairy. 10 stack Dark Seal. Breathe is on the top side of the map. Breathe will go to answer. He has teleport, so does Breathe. Hook misses. Ult misses too. Close. Pixels off the backside of that rocket ship Corki. Astronaut. Dragon up in 5 seconds. Will be Hextech Soul for Top Esports. Weibo. I mean, you gotta pray for a miracle. Level 16 on Jax. Doesn't feel like he's really beating out the Renekton. Cream gets a good poke from that E. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Breathe, walking his way down to the plate. How much more poke can come through that grab field? Kind of nice. Cream walks up, and there's your Hextech Soul. Oh, it is disastrous. Chaos Storm comes through. That'll be a reset. Yes, the Shockwave comes through, but it's going to be a reset on the Chaos Storm. Even more damage. That's 3. There's the 4th one coming through. Double kill for Kanavi. Chaos Storm increased in size one more time. That Storm is continental. Top Esports. This one was pretty done from start to finish. 14-6 on the scoreboard. Hextech Soul. Only Tien left alive, and he can't defend against the 6 grubs of Top Esports walking towards them. Top Esports, they kind of threw that last game a little bit. Drags it out. Top Esports will win the series sooner rather than later, though. Well, later rather than sooner, I suppose, with that being the context. Weibo shows some poor fights. Top Esports shows slightly better. Nexus will go down for their first, their second series in the Ascension stage to go 2-0.